In the White House, President Eisenhower signs the proclamation that makes Alaska's entry into the Union official, nearly 92 years after Lincoln's Secretary of State bought the territory from the Russian Tsar for $7 million.
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana for the use of only by adults 21 and over. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They're the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Anchortown Dogs, located on 4th Avenue across from the old 4th Avenue Theater. Look for the blue and gold umbrella. From reindeer dogs to bomb euros, they've got you covered. Anchortown Dogs, your local gourmet hot dog and sausage cart.
Crude Magazine, Alaska-based media outlet using the last frontier as a springboard to discover larger truths about the cultures of our great state. Read more at crudemag.com.
Lawn Pro AK, Alaska's year-round professional property maintenance team. Services include snow and ice management, weekly lawn care, and more. Get your free estimate today at lawnproak.com.
Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
Lady with a Plan, your own Alaska event planner. From scouting the perfect location to planning the tiniest details, specializing in event management and production for intimate social gatherings. Find Lady with a Plan on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that all those facilities are just like the doors are open or the doors are off, or like
I think the doors over time have come open.
Okay. The hinges have dilapidated and they
yeah, no one's maintaining it. Yeah. Let's just say that. Yeah. So
yeah.
You know, you got to be careful when you're walking around, of course, but
sure.
It's very different, and you kind of spend most of your time looking around saying, well, what was this building in its previous life, you know? And then just crazy out that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like crazy how much money was spent and then it just was left.
Yeah. And you could tell when they closed some of the places, like McDonald's, they just literally...
There was a McDonald's there?
There was a McDonald's there, yeah.
No.
So, yeah. And so you know, the tables, the chairs on top of the tables, like it'd be closing a restaurant for the last time, and you know, then you walk into some other facilities, which I'm guessing were more high security. Nothing's there. You know, it's like everything's been pulled apart.
They stripped that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're walking through bulletproof glass to get into that part of the building. So you're like, all right, something cool was in here. You know, so
Some top secret, maybe.
exactly.
Yeah, I've always found that
Waiting
just
for that
like
to come.
a wild, interesting, like deal, and what a unique hunt that is too.
It's a great hunt. You know, we've you know, as I said, the time, why did we go that late?
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone out there and we hunted and spent the first night there, and we woke up and there was 2 feet of snow like fell the night before.
3 feet?
Yeah, just right in front of us.
Oh my God.
So you open up the garage door and you got like 3 feet of snow. And of course, you know, you got 5 guys that are keen to go hunting. So no matter what, they want to
you're
go out
going.
there and just hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nobody brought snowshoes.
No, well, one person did.
Oh,
he was
okay.
smart. Yeah.
All right.
And he asked everybody, said, "Do you want to bring your snowshoes?" And we're like, "I don't want to pack all this gear,
Yeah,
you know."
man,
and then
why would you do that?
Yeah, next time we brought them. So yeah,
Damn, that's funny.
yeah.
Brooke, have you ever been out there with them?
I have not. I'm very envious, though.
You hear all the stories.
I hear
You
the
get
stories.
the inReach updates, or
I do.
you get cell phone out there?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
You do?
Yes and no. There's like one cell phone tower. So like if
Okay.
you're inside of that cell phone tower,
Oh,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah. And
So
then,
you can once in a while get like a text out or a call or something.
but you're like 3G, you know, lucky
Oh,
to get
it's
3G.
Okay.
very spotty.
Yeah.
You're not checking the Insta.
No, not at all.
No,
No.
no, like live from the scene Instagram updates over there. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's later.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of pictures. Yeah.
What is do you know the mileage of it? If for people that are listening, we're talking about ADAC.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
ADAC caribou hunt.
I don't know the mileage of the island. It's a good question.
Maybe we should look it up.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
got
I'm working on it.
We got B on that. So this will be your second or third time you're going.
This will be our third time going out that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been successful once?
Being successful all times, just depends on how successful we were. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. We go out the group of killers.
All right.
So, and then you of course you're going based on the Alaska Airlines flight too. So I think it flies on Saturdays and Thursdays. And so you can either go Thursday and leave on a Saturday, which is too short really for a hunt by the time you get yourself in there. So most people do a week to a week.
Got it.
And then, you know, you can go out there
Hopefully.
and hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
With
Because I bet
weather
you get weather
permitting,
in there.
right?
100%. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And then you're out there and you're you know, it's the first day, second day, third day, you're like super keen, we're going to come across an animal. And then, you know, by the fourth day, you're like, right, if we take an animal down, we've got to process it, quarter it, get it out of here, and get ready for that
Your
flight.
window narrows down.
Yeah.
So you get a little
Yep.
antsy by the fourth day.
Yep.
You know, and then, yeah.
Now, I've heard that when you go there, you are renting ATVs from locals. Is that true, or can you? You said it snowed.
Yeah, there's a number of options. Like you can, of course, do the whole charter on a boat, and the boat, you know, takes you around the whole island and drops you
Okay.
off, and you
Oh.
know, there's a chef cooking food for you and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
got to be
But
like the best option, I bet.
if you can afford it, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, it comes with a price.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we prefer the mileage tickets out there, and
Yeah.
the Aleutian Island outfitter was somebody who's living in an old officer housing, and you know, it's as the place is over time broken down, you know, you just go from one house to another house to another
Oh,
house, and
whichever's standing the best.
yes, and then you can tell, like when a fridge goes down, they don't order a new fridge from Anchorage. They just go to the house next door and pull it and put it in there. You know, it's just,
Pull parts from that.
Yeah.
Get that one going.
yeah.
Yep.
And you got locals that were probably there in its heyday and saw it. And you know, now it's obviously done by the Aleutian Corp, I think, is who runs it now. So there's, you know, various providers, and you're running on ATVs that are, you know, or they're personal trucks, but they've been out there for a while. So, yep. But it's just fun.
So I got a fact. Max length 29.83 miles,
Sounds right.
width 21.7 miles, square mileage 274.6. Pretty big. I mean, it's not huge, but
Yeah. Is it? And one side is the mountainous, and the rest is kind of like tundra.
No, it's volcano, mountain, probably a range peak, and then it flattens out into a caribou area, which is a preserve. Which is
okay.
pretty tough to gain access to. You got to go through a portage to get to it, and yeah, typically by that time, hopefully you found a caribou, because you'll be hauling meat out, you know, 5 miles at that point.
Oh.
Man, that's gnarly.
That's
And it's not easy walking in that like tussock tundra-y like stuff, right?
But you can gain some elevation pretty quickly and kind of ride the ridge lines.
I'll get on the hard top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's how you want to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Alaska Wild Project, episode 82. Today we have Craig and Brooke Pester from Total Truck and Alaska Overlander. Thank you guys both for coming in.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Long awaited.
Yes.
Long
Yeah,
awaited
we've
is
been working
correct.
on this.
We have.
Yeah,
We love your content. We love the podcast. And it's just, as we were saying, it's so unique. And to have an Alaskan focused content and Alaskan people talking about what makes Alaskan unique. You know, Alaska's a beautiful place, but the personalities kind of make what the state is all about. And,
Well said, man.
and so seeing, you know, some of the personalities you have on here and some of those stories, it's really kind of cool to kind of hear that. So, yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you. Those kind words. I was just thinking you guys get your fair share of characters and personalities coming through the door, right?
We do, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Through Alaska Overlander, we have you know, people that are really finding that unique experience when they come up here. They don't want to do the cruise experience where they you know, are shuttled from a cruise ship to a bus to, you know, their hotel to
an art gallery or a tour shop or whatever.
Yeah, you know, the ones that we will pass when we're driving to our fishing spots, you know,
Yeah.
and you're not really truly seeing the true Alaska that we appreciate as Alaskans, you know, and that's kind of what we were trying to do with Alaska Overlander, was give people that experience where they can go out there and see some of the places that Alaskans like to go to, you know, not our secret hidey holes, of course, but,
Sure.
you know, going to see Dalton, going to the Denali Highway, going to see Kennecott, going out there to Chicken, to Dawson City, and all these places that, you know, is the cool part of what I love about Alaska. So,
Yep.
Well, I think one thing that's really cool about the Alaska Overlander thing is you are encouraging people to go to these roads and go to these highways, where if you go get a rental car from one of the rental car companies, they're like, do not go to this place because you will be liable. Like kind of when you go to Hawaii, you're not supposed to drive to the backside of Maui or whatever it is, you know, and you do, you know, you're not supposed to. But you guys are actually encouraging people to go deeper. And as you have these big tour companies, I feel like it's still a beautiful way to see Alaska. Don't get me wrong. It's still wonderful. It is a unique experience no matter how you do it. But I feel that is just barely scraping the surface of what you can actually do when you come visit Alaska. And by offering the tools which they're tools to come in with those vehicles set up like that, you're actually letting people like dig deep into there and actually make their own way, which I always tell like tourists I see a lot of tourists, and I say, next time you come, I know you're on this big guided tour and you got to go on this bus to Denali and then you're going on the cruise ship to blah blah blah. Like next time you come, go get a truck.
Check this out.
Even a motorhome gets you a little bit deeper and a little bit more than that, and you guys are even taking it to like the next level,
100%.
which is awesome.
Yeah. And we want to give them capable rigs so they can feel confident while they're out there that they're going to be able to, you know, explore that and do that experience. And we spend the time with them when they come in to show them how to work everything in the rig and get them familiar with it rather than, you know, here's a video to watch. We spend an hour with them or more if they need it.
Hands-on.
Going through everything, making sure that they're operating the equipment, that they know how to use it.
Yeah.
Give them that confidence.
And she's been humble too as well. Like, I mean, the booking experience from that first initial question of, hey, where should I go? What should I do? Brooke helps with the booking and the planning and spots to go to and route planning. Any kind of questions on where should I do? What should I do? That's happening like an hour for next year. As part of the booking process. And so by the time we meet them, we pretty much know a lot about them already and where the trip's going to go. And then again, it's making them feel comfortable with the rigs. And, you know, back to the build process, we did these in a way that we wanted to build it for these roads. So we selected the tires, we selected the suspension. We purposely found an insurance company that would support us in regards to going out to these roads, because most
Didn't
of them
think
won't.
about that. Yeah, because
that
there's
was the
not
fun part.
not all carriers are willing to put,
Hell, what do you?
because there's a lot of risk there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we just had to make sure that, and then also too, we want to make sure that people are going out there and are not having challenges. It's kind of part of the package that we want to give them. We want them to go out there and be confident and be comfortable and
Have fun.
And like, so we overbuild the rigs and do it in a way that we just know that there's not going to be any challenges when they're out there.
Well, yeah, if someone runs into a challenge and they have a breakdown and you're on the Denali Highway, they don't maybe have an inReach. They can't get a hold of nobody. Mm-hmm. They have to get towed out. Like, the last thing they're going to do is be like, yeah, check out Alaska Overlander.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to talk about it. And this day and age, it seems like word of mouth and grassroots of growing a company is like the way to go. You get a bad review on whether it be Yelp or Google or something like that. That's really bad. Like, people look at that. Like, I know that when I go look at any company or whatever, I don't want to see the 5-star. I want to see, like, what was the bad experience that people had on that? Mm-hmm. And by providing these vehicles that are not going to break down, the knowledge of that you guys give them to be prepared if something does happen, and how to work everything, it just gives people the confidence, like you said, to go a little further than they might have.
Yeah. And we love the state. We've got a passion for the state. So the fact if they can go around and have this epic journey around Alaska, and then we hear about on the back end of it, of all the places they've seen and what they've done, and, you know, the fact that they never would have thought of doing this something beforehand, and then as a result of nervous maybe going into their trip, and then on the back end of it, like, this is awesome, I'm going to do this when I get home, this is exactly what I'm going to do going forward. That's
inspiring, huh?
We had one guest earlier on in the season, and she told us later that she had only camped once before, somewhere back in the Midwest, where she was, you know, within an hour of, you know, civilization, and where they could get things. And so she was pretty nervous. We kind of picked up on that when we did the orientation. She was pretty nervous. And then when she came back, she was just gushing. And she said, and she left it in our review too, she said, I didn't know I could feel so at home out camping. And that's like the biggest compliment to me, that she felt that comfortable and confident to be able to do that experience. And they had an awesome time.
Yeah, I almost had to feel like anybody can do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't necessarily have to put it up a tent or shifted a car in 4-wheel drive. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they've got the knowledgeable folks like yourself to kind of coach them through the process and build the confidence foundation for them and walk them through. And I'm sure they can call you from the field too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we give them our cell phone number.
Yep.
So
there's a full connection from the booking aspect, the arrival, the meeting, the preparation, and tutorial, and then even through the process, right? They can contact you.
Absolutely. So, and then we look forward to seeing them at the end and hearing their adventures and the stories. We've heard some pretty cool stories.
I bet.
And the pictures too. You know, you see where they've been and what they've done and the experience that they've had. You're like, all right, what you did is exactly why we built the rigs for. And it's just definitely that full circle of, really good. So.
Well, I want to backtrack a little bit. And first of all, for everyone that's noticed, that's not an Alaskan accent. Where's the accent from?
So I'm from New Zealand originally. So from the South Island, Christchurch. Yeah.
All right.
But I moved here in 2001. Yep. Made the mistake of meeting this lovely, beautiful lady in New Zealand. And she dragged me over here kicking and screaming. And I said I'd give it 2 years at the most. And here I am 20 years later. You know?
So it was your idea to come here?
I'm from here.
Oh, you're from here.
Yeah,
okay, you met him there.
Yeah, I grew up in Cordova.
Okay.
Oh, that's way cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're there on vacation or something, or how'd that work?
So after college, I didn't want to get a real job.
Of course.
All my friends
No one still wants a real job, just so you know.
Yeah, pretty much. All my friends were, comparing all these cool places that they were going to work and all these, jobs. And I was like, I'm going to go travel while I can, while I'm, not tied down for things. So I saw an ad in a student magazine for work visas for New Zealand and Australia. My family has some kind of distant connections to New Zealand and Australia. We had some family emigrate to the U.S. through Australia. And a branch of the family lived in New Zealand, so it always kind of had piqued my interest. So the summer after I graduated from college, I went to New Zealand, and pretty quickly, probably about 3 weeks after I got into the country, I met Craig. He offered to be my tour guide.
Oh, that's a sly move, Craig.
Yeah, mistake, right? Yeah, right. Right on, man. So it kind of just took off like that. I mean, as far as how long were you in New Zealand before you guys decided to come stateside?
We were in New Zealand for about 4 months, and then I had a visa for Australia. And New Zealanders can have automatic entry into Australia for working and living. So he said, well, I'll come join you over in Australia. So we lived in Australia for just over a year. And then we went back to New Zealand for a couple of months while he was sorting out visas. And then we came here in August of 2001.
Yep.
And I know that New Zealand and Australia are traditional, really big into like overland and stuff, right?
Big into that, yeah. That's and South Africa too as well. Kind of those areas. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So before you decided to come to Alaska and obviously fell in love and stayed,
Yeah.
as everyone does, what were you doing there? Were you a young man still? Like,
I still view myself as a young man, even though it was 20 years ago. So I came. I was in hospitality and tourism, so I was young and just fresh out of university, and just wanted to kind of do the whole travel the world. That was really a big motivation.
Okay.
And then being together. So I came over here. Actually, Alaska Resort hired me. They sponsored me to come over here, and then that was like a month or so before September 11th. So I got to see.
you said Alaska Resort?
Alaska Resort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then.
Were you to be like a ski?
No, I was just working in hospitality. And so
Oh,
they
in
sponsored me
hospitality,
for a
okay.
J1 visa for 18 months.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Just working at the hotel there?
Just working at the
Alaskans
hotel.
love
man,
the J1.
perfect.
Yeah, they do. So I was one of those J1s.
All right.
Came over here and I just worked in pretty much every single job. They kind of had this real formal program for me when I first got here. But then September 11th happened. And, candidly, the whole tourism industry went through a huge upheaval during that time. Mm-hmm. And they kept through the commitment and helped me out as much as they could do during that time. And as a result, I worked pretty much in anywhere where they put me. So I was working night audit, I was working front desk, I was working wherever they needed me to work. I was willing to do what it took. Mm-hmm. And it was a side benefit. I could ski during the day. It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I bet.
How many days did you do that first year?
60 days in that first season, yeah. I just skied as often as I could, even though I was just going out for half a day.
Sure.
Did it.
Every time you could put boots on, you went.
Oh, yeah.
That's perfect.
And it was still affordable then. That's when I used to snowboard and stuff back in those days. Now
Well, and there was good snow back then.
It was, yeah.
I mean, consistently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, like you would get like snow every couple of days, or
Yeah.
you could get fresh. You probably got some good powder days in those 60 days, I bet.
Yes.
That leads me to wonder that with all this rain, if that's going to lead to a ton of snow.
I sure hope so.
I do
Me too.
too.
Yeah, me too. It's been a good year. Last year was a good season, so we're hoping this year we'll be going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you're working, and then are you in Cordova? Or are you
No, I was working in Anchorage.
Okay.
I was working for Era Aviation in
Okay.
the sales department.
all right? Rest in peace. Era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kinda
they're
sad.
done. Yeah. Yeah, they're Raven now.
Raven.
Raven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're coming back.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
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 They're
Flying to
hanging
Asia
in
now
there.
too as well, right?
They're
fly to
trying
Asia?
That's what they're doing in
trying
Northern
to, I
Pacific
think.
Airlines or something. They're going to announce they've got, I think, 3 757s that they're going to be flying.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
I didn't know
Out
that.
of the old terminal, old international terminal. Yeah.
Oh, I flew Raven to go to the hockey tournament in Homer.
Yeah, I used to fly them. Well, Era back in the day, and Raven to Kenai and
Yeah.
Fairbanks and
They were
Kodiak and all that.
fun. It was
Oh,
fun to
man.
work for them.
It was the coolest thing, like doing quick day trips and flying. Like
Yeah.
just hopping over to Kenai or hopping down to Kodiak for the day for
Yep.
work, and it was so easy, man.
Yeah.
Great customer service, man. It was a great
Yeah.
time.
No TSA.
I personally had amazing experiences with Era.
Were you still smoking on the airplane then?
No.
So they had the big cookies, though.
They had the big cookies.
Oh, the big cookies.
The big
yeah.
cookies. I remember on the longer ones, every once in a while you got a beer too, if I remember right.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like
one of my
Alaskan
favorite memories
Amber?
of Era was actually when we fly down to her hometown in Cordova. And so, they're rushing because they're always hustling to get to the next place. And then I always loved it because the flight attendant would be sitting there standing. I guess he gets all flight attendant, right? Flight attendant.
Yeah, you're still allowed to say that. Yeah.
And so
What can't you? Stewardess is not. That's not in.
Yeah, that's
you
not
can't say it
okay
anymore.
anymore.
It's not
No,
okay
that's
anymore.
not okay.
Oh.
Sorry, flight attendant.
But I always to love it too because it was like a couple of cool stories going to Cordova. My first one was, they're doing the safety spiel and the plane's taxiing, right? And
They're bouncing around.
bouncing around. They're doing the
Dash
safety
8.
spiel. The phone's binging. They're hitting the thing and they're doing the spiel. And then they sit down. The plane takes off. It was
Yep.
that was kind of always my favorite memories out of Cordova. And another one was literally flying from Anchorage to Cordova, and the pilot's like talking over. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm really sorry. It's really, really cloudy here. I don't know if we can get in. Oh, there's a hole." And we're
down.
Yeah, exactly. We were. I was like,
disregard that.
Yeah, stopped talking, and the plane just kind of pitched down and went through and found the hole, and then we landed. So,
and anyone listening that has never been on any of these flights that will take you into these other little towns, it is hairball and scary.
yeah.
It can be.
It's
It's bumpy.
Most of
Yeah.
the time
Yeah.
it is. Like for
Yeah.
people that are afraid of flying,
Yeah,
not that I'm
coming
afraid,
over-
but my wife is like, I would never ever fly to Cordova or Juneau or any of these places because she's just like, I've heard all the stories.
It's just the landing and the taking off.
Yeah.
Usually.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
the two most important parts.
Hey, those are usually the get a little. You might get a little sweaty palms going on.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
But then it was like, flying on Aero days and then early Alaska Airlines days. And then,
Yeah.
then you're flying, and I used to, on my last job, so I flew a lot. And then,
Oh, yeah.
so you're sitting there and the plane's bumping around, and people looking at you like, this is crazy. I'm like, this is nothing.
Yeah, it's every time.
you don't want to see crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. Flying in the middle of January. Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, I'm like, he's not overflying the plane. He's fine. He's just going with the bumps.
Brooke, I wanted to ask you what it was like growing up in Cordova.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Cordova's a great town. Really great community. Really supportive. The sports teams were a little limited, so I always felt
Basketball, wrestling.
It was volleyball,
basketball, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
You got it.
Yep.
All indoor.
Yeah,
Don't have to worry about the weather, and the
Yeah.
whole town shows up, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great experience. Going back there, my
family-
parents still live there.
Oh,
So we try to go back every summer. We've started going where we send each of the kids down for a week, so they get a
Oh.
week by themselves with their grandparents and get to have their
great
own
idea.
experience. And
Yeah.
that's been really fun. We've done that for about 3 years now.
Yeah.
And they get some experience flying alone on the plane, which is super
Yeah.
cool.
and they get a break from each other.
Yes.
Exactly.
Which is
and the
huge, right?
dynamic for us at home changes,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is really cool.
Right.
Taking
So
one
break
out.
up the twins, and
Yeah.
then, yeah,
Yep.
that's funny.
So the twins now are how old did you guys say?
11.
Yep.
11, and there's another one, another.
Our
older?
cleaner.
14.
Yep.
Yeah. Our chief cleaner.
Yep.
The chief cleaner.
Yeah.
Oh, the cleaning up the
He
vehicles when they
cleans
come
all the
in.
rigs,
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, that's great. I'm trying to train my kids how to cut onions, and they're not down for that.
Just over here crying. Dad, I don't know how to do
What's the punishment in my home? You know,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a great idea.
that's 50 pounds. You better listen.
Well, it gives him that buy-in right from the start, and it's awesome to see how he's grown to as well in the role.
Yeah.
And he's just, he has his own schedule. He creates his own timeline. The detail that he's gone to from where he was at the start of the season to now, he just manages it himself.
Yeah.
Sense of ownership too as well, and appreciation for the money that he's earning too as well. So
Yeah,
you
that's
it's-
important.
Yeah, he's saving for his first car already.
No,
Using the
okay,
money
that
from
leads
us.
me to my question. Does he want like a little fast car instead of like a modded out truck?
He would buy your Toyota in a heartbeat.
Okay,
That's what
okay.
he's gunning
All
for,
right,
yeah.
good boy.
Like a
Good
little
boy.
bit of older.
He's already talking about what kind of rooftop tent he wants to put on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Why don't you
Okay.
save up for the car first?
Yeah, yeah.
Because he buys the tent first and ready for the truck.
I can afford the tent now.
Yeah.
Like I would buy like air fresheners before I was 16. I would just have an air freshener. I'd have a sticker ready to go on the window. Just like
That's awesome.
waiting for the truck.
You got the mats.
Yeah.
Everything's ready,
The
man.
mental picture and everything ready to go. Yeah.
So he's embraced helping with the business then.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, some kids are like, Mom and Dad do this, but like I'm not into it.
Mm-hmm.
And some parents are like, no, you're doing it. And then some parents are like, cool, you're not into it, that's fine. But it's pretty rad. He actually wants to, get into it. And he's learning about the products if he's cleaning the rigs, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And he's more critical of his work than what we are. So
Yeah.
and he's as I said, over the time he's just learned it and done a really good job with it, and real sense of pride too as well, which is good to see.
Well, and in the reviews that I've looked at too, I mean, folks have commented on the cleanliness of the rigs.
Yeah.
So he's doing it right. Like he's getting all the dirt and all the nooks and all that.
What's he doing this Sunday?
He's looking at
He's
their
got about 9 cars to clean.
He is.
He's got a backlog.
Starting with ADAC or what?
ADAC's first.
No, he's just in the cleaning chemicals and just the whole process. He's got it dialed in. He's doing really good.
He's already talked about what kind of kit he's going to have in his own car to keep it clean.
Yeah.
And these come back dirty. I mean, it is amazing. And then that's what we kind of say. We're like, we don't want the vehicle to come back clean. We want it to come back dirty. And it shows that you're actually using it for what we want to use it for.
Yeah.
We want to see bugs smeared across the top of the tents and the front of the grills because we know that's less of the population for us to worry about. But it also means that you're being out there and doing what we're hoping to build the roof for. So
Yeah.
What was your first car?
Mine was a Supra.
A Supra?
Yes.
Whoa.
Supra.
Okay.
Actually, I can't. A Vauxhall Chevette was my first one. I got rid of that pretty fast. And then it was a Toyota Corolla XRT, and then it was a Supra.
Okay.
Built up to it.
Yeah, I convinced my dad to sell it to me.
Oh, you used to be, or maybe you still kind of are, like behind the scenes. You were like the Supra WRX, like rally car, Gran Turismo.
You want me to edit this part out?
Please edit this
part. Brooke, what about you?
My first car was a Ford Bronco 2.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
I did not know this.
Yeah, it was blue.
Yeah. Nice.
Badass.
The gas gauge didn't work.
Was it like the like late 80s model?
I don't remember what year it was.
Yeah,
It was pretty
Bronco 2s were
old.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, it was fun. I only had it for about a year.
Was it
but
two-tone?
was fun.
Two-tone paint?
Think so.
Yeah, because they were like red and white, blue and white.
It was like two-tone blue, I think, or blue and black.
Oh, like a dark blue, light
I think
blue?
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my dad used to be like used car salesman, wheel and dealer.
Yeah.
And man, those sold so fast. Like we were talking about
With Haley.
Yeah, with Haley, Toyota Tacomas and 4Runners.
That was the arm, right? Where you used to break the window.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. But there's like just unique things that like held value, or there was just a person.
Yeah.
It's like my dad always used to say, there's an ass for every seat.
Yeah.
So like someone will buy
100%.
this vehicle.
Yep.
Like someone will, like it may be crap to one person, but someone loves it. And those little Bronco 2s, man, those were
fun.
always, and he always sold them to young women. They bought them first right out of the gate. I don't know what the allure was. It was that and the old Broncos.
Yeah.
Like the one that they remade just recently.
Yeah.
Like this, like the
Those
late
are awesome
like
back
60s and early 70s Broncos.
Kind of small, but yet you felt like you're in a nice, like the first SUVs almost.
Yeah, they used to have like 302 small blocks in them and 3 on the tree, and they were cool little trucks.
Great off-road rigs too as well.
Man, I just young gals like out of college.
Yep.
For some reason, they liked them. I don't know if they just went out and like rallying them or what it was, but there was this certain person, like you said, asked for every seat, man.
Dude, that's such a used carsman.
Yeah, but that is true. Yeah. And I used to like think like, oh, that's so cheesy, but he was right.
Well, I just kind of wonder too as well. It's like, is it the vehicle that makes the people, or the people that buy the vehicles too as well? Because like you see, there's definitely a connection between the two of them.
Yeah,
and it's that's are they looking for a 4Runner because they want off-roading, overlanding? What's the reasons for why they buy that specific vehicle? There's always reasons for everything too as well. So
yeah. What was your first car?
Yeah.
My first truck. I'm a Chevy diehard guy, but actually my first vehicle was a Ford. It was a 77 F-250 with a 10-inch lift and 40s. And it was way too much truck for a 16-year-old kid.
100%.
But I smashed that around for like 6 months. And then I got a 77 Chevy step-side GMC that my dad and I put a 383 stroker in. Yeah. Had a 6-inch lift and 35s. Ooh. Had the chrome roll bar with the KC lights.
Nice.
With the yellow caps on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's epitome of 80s right there.
Yeah.
Man, that thing was very temperamental and not reliable at all.
Well, when I
Dad had
first
to come rescue me a lot.
when I first came to the States, I'm like, all right, I've got to get an American truck. You know, it's like because everything's like Japanese imports over there. So I was like, I got to get an American truck. So I got an American Chevy step side, right? And I went to bright red. I went to Red, White, and Blue Auto Sales around the corner here. They're still there, surprisingly.
Yeah, on Old Sword.
Yeah. Got it from there. Didn't know anything about American trucks. Just wanted one. And it's step side. I'm like, this is sweet. I go for a test drive. They give me the keys. Driving around the corner. I'm like, this thing's awesome. It's got a V8. Roar. You know, the typical thing as I'm driving around the corner.
It's 8 miles to the gallon.
I didn't care at the time, you know.
Oh, gas is cheap, man. Gas is cheap then.
And then I turn the corner, and just as I turn the corner, I look at the corner of mine, here's this cop. I'm like, uh-oh. I mean, I don't know any of the rules. Relates to
You're on the test drive?
I'm doing a test drive, yeah.
Getting used to driving on the other side of the road.
First time driving on the side of the road. You know,
Did you even have a license yet?
you could drive an international license, so I was okay there regards. But did I know the rules of the road?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
You know, so then I'm like, oh, cop. You know, of course I'm from New Zealand, and everything perception of cops is like guns and can I get you beaten down with a stick, which is not the truth. But just
yes.
the
being
cop
a young
show
guy, you don't know,
and so anyway, I'm
Bad boys.
exactly. So my first impression, and I'm like, okay, no worries. I try and do a U-turn, and of course, it's got the in the tree, right? And I don't know how to change that because I've never had that before. I'm used to the Jap imports with everything on the ground.
An automatic shifter on the column.
So here's a cop pulling up. Here's this little kid, me, behind the steering wheel of this truck, who's just rallied around a corner, stopped it, and like urgently trying to put into reverse. He doesn't know what the heck I'm doing. He comes up, he's like, put your hands on the steering wheel.
I don't even know how to operate this vehicle.
Exactly. I don't know what I'm doing.
Don't shoot.
Exactly. And then, and of course, they got to verify the ownership of the vehicle. So what do they do? They call it ABC.
Red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. Sorry, thank you. Red, white, and blue. And they verify it, and everyone has a big old laugh because here's the guy for a test drive, and I drive back into the lot, and of course, everyone's like doing the slow clap.
Oh man! Tail between your legs.
And like, I guess you got to buy it now, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I guess so too. And it was the biggest piece of shit.
Oh man!
That's funny. Well, it started off wrong, man. You should have known.
Well, bought a used rig from a dealer.
Yeah.
That's kind of hit and miss.
I didn't know what to look for as well.
Yeah, and I mean, and depending on what year, because Chevy hasn't always made all their models and years were good trucks.
No.
They all have their issues.
Yeah.
Like
especially that age too as well.
I'm loyal to them, even though I know what their problems are. I still was working out, but
yeah.
The devil you know.
Yeah, exactly. Used auto sales in Alaska, especially back then, is pretty tough. 'Cause it's like, everybody's just trying to make a buck. So those rigs weren't like gone through.
Yeah.
It's not like the CV boots were checked out and the tranny was flushed and
the 100-point inspection was
there was no Kendall's 100-point inspection done on that thing. No.
Spray it down.
You probably bought a money pit, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
And then as it drove away, the people that bought it rolled the window down, and then they quickly realized it didn't roll back up, and we were like, bye.
Oh, yeah.
Got him.
Forgot to mention that window.
Heard about that.
But from that point on, it was more, Subarus was my world. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used Subarus and enjoyed them because they're reliable vehicles and they're fun. And, you talk about off snow and ice and winter driving, they were just reliable. And then got into modifying them, and that was my world, my fun. They had motorcycles too as well. It's kind of my background. So,
I had a question that might pertain to some of that.
Sure.
So where did Kiwi come from?
That's the nickname for New Zealanders.
It is.
Oh, it is.
But it's like what the Subaru community kind of called me. It was kind of from the forum days of AK Kiwi was what my forum name was. And
was it?
Yeah, therefore I was kind of called Kiwi by default at that stage. So, and then it stuck.
Okay, well, CJ ran into him when he was here.
Big CJ?
Big CJ. Yeah. When we were recording, he ran into Craig, and they gave each other a hug. And I'm like, oh, Craig? And he's like, Kiwi? Man, I know Kiwi forever. I'm like, what? I was like, I'm going to remember that. Yeah. We get him on the show. I'm going to ask him where that came from. Okay, so I didn't know that is that because New Zealand's like Kiwi capital of the world?
It's just kind of it came from World War II when the soldiers there were called Kiwis. And it just kind of stuck with the...
I was way off.
Yeah. Well, rural Kiwis ever come from New Zealand? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so you come over and you're AKQE with the
AKQE.
WRX.
Yep. And then it just kind of stuck from that point on. Yeah.
It was green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was brown, green interior.
How did you? So you made a shift though in interest.
Well,
Right?
I was in tourism for a number of years. So I worked
Okay.
in Denali National Park and started off as general manager for a hotel up there doing the seasonal world, and then grew to become district manager with a company called Aramark. And so we used to run hotels up there and then do the concession contracts in the park. And so just had amazing experience up there, and kind of the back in the heyday of that world was awesome. Just a lot of cool people. The seasonal lifestyle going from like 20 core year-round staff to, at that time, almost 1,500 employees.
Yeah.
And, just that passion and drive that you had of kind of gearing up, hiring the best talent you could get, getting excited about the summer season, kind of planning for the season, opening up the doors, executing that, and, working your proverbial off for like the whole summer long, and taking care of guests and clients. And
Is this J1 days or this is after?
this is afterwards. I became a citizen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At that point, I got sponsored through another company called Stonebridge Companies. Used to manage the Hampton Inn here in town.
Okay.
And helped with the Hilton Garden and Homewood Suites, and then had a great manager who met me, who worked for Aramark at the time, and pulled me over to manage the Chalet Hotel at that time. And then Brooke and I both worked for Aramark at the time. She did the reservation side of it, and
Revenue management.
revenue management side of it, and so we were working kind of together, but not as well at the same time. And it was good times. And then kids and
Yeah, our kids grew up in Denali, which was really cool.
yeah,
Oh, no way.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So like Healy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in the canyon itself. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
Oh,
mostly
wow.
in the canyon, but yeah, we go up to the Healy, and they had a bunch of friends up there, and we go to all the local events and community events.
Way cool.
it was awesome. It was a good lifestyle for while we were there. It was fun, and our kids just got raised with 500 aunties and uncles.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the people that work there.
Yeah.
It must be
Right.
such a close community of people because you're all living in that small place and you got to.
And you were going through
Get
the same
along.
experience too, as well. With the goods, the pros and the cons, and
Ups and the downs.
yeah. And so you're all in it together, and you all see a prize in taking care of the customers, and then also the end of the season too, as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then pushing through to the end, and then this camaraderie and community that's kind of formed over the last 4 or 5 months. Then just everyone just goes in different parts.
Yeah.
And travels around the world, and so you meet people from Ukraine and Russia and Serbia and all these Turkey and all these J1 program, which I'm a 100% supporter of the J1 program. I think it's an amazing program.
Could I be like totally candid?
Yeah.
What is J1?
Good
program?
question.
Because for any listeners out there that don't know, this is great information.
Yeah.
And there's probably somebody listening like, you dipshit, you don't know what that means. Like, yeah, there's a lot of things I don't know, and I'm totally cool with asking.
Yeah.
So what is that?
It's right
J1
there with the 2B system. No, I'm joking. So J1 is it's an exchange program that I think it's the federal government obviously does as a way of exchange for students that are going through either university, and they, as part of the program, I was on an 18-month visa, which is rare. Typically, I think it's 6 months. It may be different now, where they work for 4 months and then spend 2 months traveling. It could have changed now, but and then what they do is the companies hire them, and they provide housing, and then they give them a job and a role, and they come over and work in certain roles. So we used to go recruit over in these markets and go interview thousands of people that wanted to come work in the state, and it's an opportunity for them to experience the culture and then travel around the United States and kind of have this really cool impression. And it was awesome too, because it was, you wouldn't know who you were beside. Their J1 visa, they didn't, some of them barely spoke English, but they could be studying for rocket science, or they could be having a super high-end degree, and they're washing dishes, and they're hard workers, and they just really care about what they were doing. It was just such an awesome work ethic of people. Yeah. And that have a really cool, they're the hardest workers that I know, the most caring group that I know, and there's good and bad eggs of all of them, but as an overall group. And they are educating Americans as well in regards to their culture and where they're from,
That's cool.
as much as they're experiencing our culture too as well. So, you know, it was a great program.
Well said. It's actually
Sounds amazing.
it is very big in the tourism industry here in Alaska.
Yeah.
A lot of the restaurants and obviously a lot of the tour companies all hire J1s. All those people, all those kids that come.
Seasonal side
Yeah,
of
I
things,
see them
right?
all the time. You know, I haven't personally hired one. I've been asked lots of times because they're looking to work the entire time. They're coming to work. Maybe they're only getting 12 hours and they're like, well, I can fit another 4, you know, here. And so they're really hardworking, very respectful.
Yep.
I think it's a great program. They're doing these jobs that maybe the average Alaskan is not willing to do. You know, go live, you know, in Denali and clean the hotel every day or things like that, or work in the kitchen and bus tables and do these jobs that, like you said, they're in the university, so they're actually going to school and they're just looking to make money. And the coolest thing about it is when you get to meet them, like they're going on these epic trips afterwards. Like they will work the entire season, whatever 5 months it is in Alaska, and then they're off to all over the place, all over the world with their group of friends and going and spending all this money. And I think they get some sort of allowance or something for that, or is it just basically the time off?
So it's kind of cool. And the more I worked with them, the more I learned how it was. So most of them actually borrowing money from their families to cover the airfare and to cover the visa, because I think the visa itself was about $1,000. It used to be. Again, don't quote me on these numbers, but it was a ballpark what that was.
Yeah.
And so
that's gone up by now.
Yeah. And then, so they'd grind. I mean, they'd literally, to your point, they would come in, and the first ones that got here, they would work 2 or 3 jobs, and they would just work and work and work. And then, so we'd have these significant milestones that would happen. First one would be the payoff day, and that typically happened, you know, first week of June, where they've worked hard enough to pay off their loan and the airfare. And then they'd have, like, what are they saving for, whether it be for college or whether it be for whatever target it is. And then they'd hit that milestone by July. And then they would save money for a special thing for themselves. You know, so that's when you start seeing the iPads turning up and the iPhones coming in, you know, something that they probably couldn't get back home. And it's like, yeah, me, good on me, you know what I mean, for this hard work. And then the remainder of the year was the trip where we're going to next from that point on, or just savings, you know. Yeah. And you'd see them come back year after year after year. And we've still got people that are Facebook friends of ours now that were J1s and have had a life here and been very successful and got careers that have stayed on in the US afterwards, because they came back in the first year as a housekeeper or a dishwasher, and the second year they came back as a server, next year they came back as a manager, and then you know,
they can come back multiple years, and then once they're out of school, I think then it's
then they got to get sponsorship or some other program or marry someone.
But I have to imagine, and you can probably attest to it, is the connections that are made. Not only with like your brethren and people in the workplace that you're at, but the guides and the other guests and tourists and stuff that maybe you bonded with, and you shared a phone number or an address, and you sent letters or emails or whatever. It's like the access in, you know, with that collective group of people, and then the industry you're in with other people, like the social gatherings of that, all of it, like the connections must be amazing.
It is. And
like it just kind of thinking about all this stuff. I'm like, wow.
Well, you're literally in the trenches together. Remember, if you worked in hospitality, you know what I mean. You're
I bet.
You're just grinding it. You're trying to take care of the customers and, you know, the orders that are in front of you, and
day after day after day, right?
Yep. And
the run and gun.
Yeah, exactly. And you're enjoying it because it's what you do. But it's, you know, it's that brothers and sisters in arms that are left to the right of you in regards to getting it done. So, and then you live together in the community too as well. So you're working together, and then you're going hiking Healy or in the park or during that
free time.
Free time. You just the ones that are there for the right reasons are coming to Alaska because there's a draw to come to Alaska.
Yeah.
So you're saying you've spent a few nights in the old Totem Pub?
No comment.
Is it called? Man, I was just there. Is it the pub? I think it is the Totem Pub.
Back in those days, it was a
salmon bake.
Salmon bake. That's
right.
Oh,
that was what it was called.
My buddy was one of the owners of that.
Motika.
Okay.
Know them well.
Well, even cooler. Okay.
Good guys.
Yeah, it says it's closed till midnight. But I've been there till like 4 a.m. So it's open till whenever.
Yeah.
So you guys meet, you get married, you're living down there doing the hospitality thing.
Mm-hmm.
What about in the wintertime? Because I know a lot of times that stuff's all kind of shut down.
Well, in our world, that's when we'd go from operations to planning.
Okay.
You know? So like October was kind of your down decompress time, packing up, making sure you shut down the season properly, assessing what you did right, what you did wrong, what are you going to change for next season? What are you going to do? Then, come November, December, you're kind of planning, putting things in place, kind of what is the next thing we're going to do, or construction or capital or, renovations or that kind of stuff's going on. And then end of December, January, you're recruiting, hardcore recruiting. That's what we're doing anyway. You're just hiring. And then really by February, you would hope to be a good portion of your employees hired at that stage. Otherwise, it was going to be a rough season for you.
And you could get commitments from people that early?
Yes, because typically most people are trying to think, there's great website out there called coolworks.com. It was the way people used to kind of hire through. And so people were looking around about December, January. And it's not just you, it's, at that time there was 3 or 4 other large operators that were also kind of going from the same pool. So you'd see a good talent come through, and you had to be there first thing in the morning and try and find them and grab them. Otherwise, that the other hotel down the road would grab them first. So you're actively recruiting, trying to find good talent, people that want to come to Alaska. And it's like they go home for Christmas with their family, like, I don't want to go home. I want to go to Alaska for the summer, during my summer break. And then 2 point, Alaska is a destination that people come into. They're like, I want to spend my summer in Alaska. I want to go explore while I'm young. I want to do something that's fun, energetic. And so they're making those decisions over Christmas, probably when they've had Christmas dinner with family and they don't want to do that again.
Oh, I do think that Alaska is on almost everyone's list.
It is. Yeah. It's somewhere on there.
Yeah.
And the top third.
I think so too.
Of most people's lists, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said this before, when you go visit other countries or other people and they ask where you're from, I say I'm from Alaska.
Yeah.
I don't say United States. I don't say America. I say Alaska. And it just leads to...
It's an instant conversation starter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And it's people have a mental image of what it's about. And then they just want to explore and see what it's there to do. And then it's like the onions your kids are chopping. Every time you go through the next layer of onion, there's a lot more to Alaska that there is to find out about. And that's where Alaskans kind of do that. They've gotten to the core, you know what I mean, of what Alaska has to offer. And every time you come back, you kind of see a different part of what Alaska has to offer.
I think we're still trying to find the guy who's done the most.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it all. But who's done the most? Who's the most Alaskan? Who's the most Alaskan?
The most Alaskan guy?
Who's the most Alaskan? Please step up. I want to know.
I mean, there's
come
got
on
to
to
be...
this podcast and tell us everything.
Yeah.
You've been invited.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, I feel like...
Is Ira on the list for now?
Most interesting man?
The most interesting man?
I agree.
I mean, he's right there.
He's up there.
Yeah, he's done a lot. There. He's done a lot of Alaskan stuff.
He does, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say it's impossible to do it all, but...
Yeah.
I mean...
You got to pick...
There's a lot.
It is impossible to do it all. But I'm curious is like who's done the most? If like you made this intense like list of all the things you could do in Alaska.
I feel like it'd have to be like a lifelong achievement.
Oh, for sure.
Not like I did this in 6 years. I mean, unless you're sponsored and you got like...
No, it has to be a lifelong achievement.
Like you started in 1950, whatever, and...
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much stuff to do, though.
I think you got to look at the garage that someone's got a boat, snow machine in it, maybe a couple of bikes, all the skis.
That's true, man.
And maybe they're from different eras. So you notice that they've gone down that whole pathway of that, and then I'm done with that, and I'm going to go do this.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So. It takes at least a 3-car garage. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah,
my 2 cars. Actually, I have 3. I've been putting stuff in my sister's garage.
2-car garage. It doesn't have any cars in it.
No, I've never had a car in my garage.
No. There's never any cars in there.
1 year we did. 1 year.
Before business started?
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Let's take a quick break, give a shout to the sponsors, and we'll come back with some more.
Sounds good.
Barney Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. Barney specializes in supplying hunters with the absolute best Alaskan-proven gear on the market for some of nature's most rugged and demanding terrain. Whether you're headed to the remote volcanic islands of the Alaska Peninsula in search of a brown bear, or the shale-infested glacial valleys of the Brooks Range for Dall sheep, it is critical you choose the right gear for your dream hunt. Don't miss Barney's exclusive brand, Frontier Gear of Alaska, tested from the high mountains of Tajikistan to the extreme conditions of Alaska. These products were designed for high performance and durability. Frontier Gear was derived from decades of experience hunting big game in Alaska. Paired with other top brands, it provides you the absolute best gear selection anywhere in the world. Stop in at Barney Sports Chalet in Anchorage on Northern Lights or check out their custom website and reference tool at barneysports.com.
Arbor Capital. Arbor Capital is based in Anchorage, Alaska, and it's your go-to wealth management company. Arbor Capital is at the forefront of digital assets and cryptocurrencies. If you've been looking to invest your hard-earned money, or you just want to learn more about crypto, blockchain technology, or digital investments, give their website arborcapital.io a visit. What's great about Arbor is they provide a low-cost, transparent, research-based investment strategy for digital assets and traditional investments as well. arborcapital.io is your first step in putting your money to work. Let one of Arbor's investment professionals walk you through your options for financial growth and security. Start investing for the future today at arborcapital.io. Arbor Capital, your Alaska digital asset company.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience. At Total Truck, you can find brands such as ARE, RSI Smart Caps, Goose Gear, iCamper, Front Runner, Rigid Lights, Rhino Linings bed liners, and everything you need to outfit your truck or SUV. Alaska Overlander provides 4x4 vehicles and expedition trailers, custom modified for Alaskan adventures and outfitted with rooftop tents, fridges, and all the camping and cooking gear you need to start exploring. Visit them at alaskaoverlander.com. Oh, got us up?
There you go.
So, Brooke, I was thinking about this before we went to the break. Because you do so much of the, as we mentioned before, like the planning, logistics, and helping folks with like what they're going to do when they're here. Because I think that's one of the biggest challenges of planning a trip, coming to Alaska. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to Alaska. Awesome, right? What are you going to do? Because there's only so many roads.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of stuff is accessible by boat and aircraft only, right? So it's like there's a lot of limitations. So it's easy to like come here and be like, where do I even start? Right? Like where do I go? What do I do? Like, so I was thinking about your experience you've had. You looking for something, Craig?
You good?
Your experience with the planning. I'm sorry, what was your jobs and career stuff in the hospitality? You were doing the reservations?
Sales and revenue management.
So some of that was helping people get set up. Hey, okay, day one, you're going to go rafting. Day two, you're going to do a tour. And so that really has helped you. And you already have knowledge of all these locations, different vendors, and tour groups to help set these people up, right?
Yeah. I have pretty good background knowledge of some of the places, we've been there ourselves, places that we like to go. I have to admit there's a few places that we have not been that are on my list to go. We have made it all the way up to Dead Horse yet, and we were going to go this year, and the weather and timing with things just didn't work out, but that's one that I really want to make it to. But
how far have you gone?
I've only been as far as just north of Fairbanks.
Okay.
Yeah, haven't had the time to go
Not too much
further.
up there on the Taylor.
Yeah, but it's high on my list.
Got to do it.
It's got to be tough, right, with the growth of the business and the commitment and the demand for your guys' presence to be available to your guests, right? Like, it's got to be hard to do it remotely.
Yeah. That one's been a balance, and we find that the trends are that people are arriving and leaving around the weekends.
Oh,
so
okay.
the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Mondays are busy, and then Tuesdays and Wednesdays tend to be a little bit quieter, which makes it harder to get away on the weekends to go and do stuff. So we've been able to get out a few times, not nearly as much as we'd like to, especially because we need to do research.
Sure. Craig needs to go jump the Land Cruiser a couple times.
But I think our destinations are probably very different from what our previous experience was, because I think that was kind of a lot of what, when we were working in it, we enjoyed it and we liked the aspect of it, but we said, it's, for us, we would work in Denali and then we'd escape on the Denali Highway, because one, it was at a cell phone range, no one would call us. And two, it was such a beautiful area and it was such an awesome accessible, and then no one was out there other than maybe hunters during hunting season, but then it was kind of had to ourselves. So we're like, there's all these little spots out here that are accessible that is great to kind of go to, and you can just camp anywhere you want to and be right by an awesome epic viewpoint overlooking the highway right by a lake, and no one else is experiencing this. Is before the days of kind of overlanding. And then so that's kind of what we're looking for, is those little secret spots where people can go and pitch up a tent and take in this epic viewpoint that is Alaska. But to your point in regards to like the booking and the planning, it's not, we're not doing the typical tours that you're seeing in Alaska for the typical cruise ship clients. They're not hitting the usual tourist spots that most people see. Most couple, they go to Talkeetna, they see it, they move on. They're not doing they've seen Seward, but they've seen it, they're moving on.
Yeah.
They're going to a lot of miles. I mean, so average rental for a Alaska Overlander is around about 9 to 10 days. And then if you think just the drive time alone in regards to doing the Denali Highway up through to Paxton, and then come and swing through up to Tok and then up across to...
You can do 1,000 miles easy.
They do, easily.
Oh, easy.
Yeah. And then it's not something you want to... And that's a big thing that we're trying to balance out with people in regards to their planning and where they should go to. It's like, all right, it looks easy on a map. It's just a point to point.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a lot of miles.
There's construction in Sourdough. It's going to be 200. There's potholes in the Richardson right here at mile.
So there's all the balancing. Like, I've only got 4 days. What can I see? Can I go see the interior? No, you can't.
No, that's not enough time.
But go to Seward and go to the Homer and go out onto the spit. Go out onto camp out on the beach. And then kind of experience that part of it and go.
Oh, so you'll apply to their time.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of routes on our website. So anything from, 7-day routes up to, I think our longest route is about 12 or 14 days.
Yeah.
But just to kind of get their ideas going of ideal expectations of how long it takes to do these routes, as well as getting some ideas of where they can go. Because it is kind of overwhelming. I talk to people and they're making their reservations and they say, I don't even know where to start. And I said, well, start looking at the routes. Get an idea of where the roads are. Because there's a lot of places that the roads aren't. So they start following along those routes. So that's one of our most visited pages on our site is that routes page. And that just, nobody follows it exactly, but it gives them some ideas of ways to go. Loops that they can make. People like to make loops. We've had a lot of people doing the loop up through Denali Highway, back down through Valdez. They'll usually make a side trip over to McCarthy and Kennecott, and then down to Valdez, and then take the ferry across to Whittier.
Okay.
Which is a cool shortcut to get to the Kenai Peninsula, and then do some
Cruise
loops
down
around there, and then back through Anchorage, and then they're not repeating a lot of roads. So that's one that I always try
to going back and forth.
Exactly. So I really encourage people to try and do that one. It takes a little more planning because the ferry's not every day, and
Right.
But that's a really good route to go. But we give people as much help or as little as they want. And some people want, a little more hand holding and some ideas. And other people, they show up and they've got this whole plan. And we've had a number of people that book, side flight seeing, or they'll fly out to various, remote camps and do it that way. And then
they'll use the rig to get to a spot, fly out to another camp for a couple days.
Yep.
Come back to the rig.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then move on to the next destination and do that again as much as their budget can handle.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate independence. They can just go wherever they want to. And
it's a DIY?
DIY. Adventure.
Yeah.
And then they can go, they can drive until they don't want to drive anymore and pull over and have a beautiful spot and camp out at it. It's just... And boondocking is a we recommend that they obviously take a look at who owns the land, making sure they're not going into areas that they are trespassing, making sure they're respecting local communities too as well. But then, there's good apps.
Native lands and all that.
There's good apps that they can see. So they go to a certain area, find a really cool spot, go down a couple of roads, and there's a lot of access and places around Alaska that you can go see that are public lands, and they're there for a reason, and they're for everybody to enjoy. And as long as you respect them, right? Pack out more than you pack in, and take care of it, and just enjoy what Alaska has to offer. Then that's what we recommend. So
What sparked the idea, and when did it start, and what did it start with?
We started getting into overlanding, probably 2 years?
3-4 years ago, yeah.
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 And then in the middle of the pandemic, we homeschooled our kids that year, and we were sort of desperate to get out, and Alaska Airlines had their buy one, get one free sale. Mm-hmm. And I looked at that. I was sitting on the couch one night, and I looked at that, and I'm like, I can't let that go to waste. And so I started thinking about places that we could go, and I thought, man, I love the deserts of Arizona. Grand Canyon's been on my list. I've seen it from the air, but I've never actually been to it.
It's on my list. I want to float it.
Yeah, that's high on my list, too.
Yeah.
And we watch a YouTube channel, Lifestyle Overland, that does a lot of overlanding in the Southwest. And I thought, man, what if we could overland in the Southwest? That would be really cool. So I started looking for overland rentals. I thought I could find something maybe out of Phoenix. Couldn't find anything out of there. Ended up finding a company called Pacific Overlander, and they had an office in Las Vegas. So we flew into Las Vegas and rented a Tacoma with 2 tents on top. And we spent 9 or 10 days traveling around. We went to Sedona. We went to Grand Canyon. We randomly found the, crater?
Yeah, crater.
It's like a giant meteor crater.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just east of Flagstaff, which was super cool, especially for one of our kids that's super geeked about that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And volcanoes, national park, and just the coolest vacation ever. Just spent 9 days in the middle of COVID. We felt comfortable being out, away from people, outside all the time. It had great weather. It was middle of October, so it was starting to get cold here.
Perfect
and just
for
had
us.
the greatest time. And every night we kind of look at each other like, could do this back home.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the idea was born. So we came back, and I think it was a month later, we had a business license and an LLC set up.
Oh, he went right in.
Oh,
We
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Once I see something, I go after it. So.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
you were losing
Yeah.
sleep over it, I
Yeah,
bet.
He was.
I'm more like,
He
I had
was.
a name in my mind. I'm like, we got to book this before someone else comes up with this
Oh,
idea.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we got
Yeah.
our website up and our booking engine up by January. And then our first reservation, I think, was the last day of February.
Yeah.
This was 21.
Did you guys even have a rig ready?
Nope.
Nope.
I didn't think so with the time frame of all that. I'm like,
No.
I mean, did you maybe have at least a
We
400 or a
we had
Tacoma
one
yet?
of them. Yeah, we
we-
bought one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right about the time the website was getting built. And then
Yeah.
we got
I
the
love
second
that.
one.
Just go.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have to do it.
Start
yeah,
booking them.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll have it ready, I promise.
Yeah. Can't post pictures yet, but imagine this.
Yeah.
That was the hard part, was not having
Amazing.
pictures.
Yeah. We
Coming soon.
We overlanded beforehand. That was kind of what, I had my Subaru and then we camped, but we also, too, our kids were getting to the age where we're like, we want to do stuff with our kids before they don't want to be around us anymore. So we're like, all right, we love the state. We want to kind of do the most of our weekends. We want to kind of grow with them and have the same memories that we used to have growing up. And so that's sold the Subaru, kind of bought a truck, put a rooftop tent on it, and kind of just did the camping thing with the kids. And then around the fire every night, we're like, this is cool. We could do this. It's kind of the best situation. We don't have how long this pandemic thing's going to go on for. And, it's the best of being in a remote location, but being out there and doing stuff.
And away from folks. If
Yeah. As much as you want to be around folks, you can be around folks. And if you don't want to be around folks,
That's what I'm
you can
saying.
be around
Yeah, you have the
folks.
option.
Yeah. And then it came in fast. And Denali and Nanook were our first 2 vehicles, and they were both 4Runners. And we just loved it. And we had 2 different builds of mine. We wanted to do the soft shell tent on one. We wanted to do the hard shell tent on the other, because we wanted to see kind of how the 2 builds would go and what would work with our customers. We learned very quickly what worked and what didn't work.
Which one was the first one? Was it Nanook or Denali?
Denali was our first.
Denali's number 1.
Yeah, and
All
then
right.
Nanook is a second. So she's they're the OGs, the original girls.
Okay.
The original girl. How many miles
like
on
that.
Denali now?
That's
52,000.
Oh, that's not bad. That's nothing.
Yeah, we got it at 8,000.
Yeah.
What? I'll buy that thing right now.
So we did some quick stats here for the season. We added up the miles for the vehicles from April through to now, and all 9 of our vehicles have done 127,000 miles this summer alone. So
Wow.
just from the summer. So they're busy.
Almost 10,000
Busy.
each.
Yep. They're 16. Denali did 16 this season, and then Oak did 16. Nana 16, and then down through about to 12 on the lower one. So yeah.
Man, look
Yeah.
at Wolverine. That thing's got a monstrous tent on it.
It's 2 tents.
That's two.
That's kind of
Oh,
like
it's
the
a
ones that we
2-tent.
rented. So it's a double.
It's very intense.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
very
it's got
You've been
two-
waiting to
very
do that one.
intense.
yeah, you got it in there, Craig. You feel good? You good? It's got like the double ladders.
It's 2 separate tents, so you can have an adult's tent and a kid's tent,
Oh,
or if you've got 2
way.
couples, or even buddies that don't want to
Okay.
snuggle in the night.
Yeah.
Did I see a ram
Yeah.
down
Daisy.
there?
Daisy.
Oh, Daisy?
Yeah.
Is that a mega cab?
Yeah.
Yep.
Man.
3,500.
How did
she's
she
gone-
get in there, man? I bet Josh had something to do with that one, right?
Yeah.
It's really funny. You do Europeans and you pull up in Daisy, and their eyes are like, what?
It's all bright red.
Yeah. And by the time they come back, they're like, we want one of these back home.
Way
Yeah.
cool. What?
So now there's what? 4, 8, 9, 10, 9 in a trailer?
Yeah. 9 in a trailer. Yeah.
Oh, so
Okay.
there's the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the names are awesome. Denali, Nanook, Adak, Beluga, Narwhal.
Narwhal.
That's my favorite.
Wolverine.
Yukon, Nana, Wolverine, Daisy, and then Susitna for the little trailer thing.
Yeah.
That thing's awesome too.
Where'd Daisy come from?
Daisy. So there's a cool story about it. So we own rigs and we consign rigs. And so
Okay.
the consignment rigs are ones that people own, and then we rent it, we clean it, we run it in our fleet for the summer, and we give it back to them. So we have a chocolate Labrador in our house, and every morning we open up the door and he goes out and barks, and the neighbor's dog barks, and it's this hound dog, and she's it's call and response. Every
Yeah, they're
morning.
just communicating.
Yeah. And then, but her name is Daisy, and so Daisy's owned by our neighbors. So therefore, when we think about names, again, you want to make sure they're personalized and that they have a story behind them.
Yeah.
And then so he's like, I'm running through. What should we know it? I'm like, you call it Daisy. There's no choice in it. And he's like, no, I want to call it Clifford. And so there's still many conversations in regards to that too.
Okay.
but,
I mean,
yeah,
Clifford makes sense.
It does.
It does.
The
It
big
makes
red truck.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. But yeah, and then still the rest of them, like we wanted to make sure that they were personalized and they have, we call them the girls, and because each of them have their own personality, and
Yeah.
and then people can form that connection with them too as well, because and then we still have people today who have rented them a year and a half ago who say, how's like a proud parent.
Yeah. How's little Nana doing?
Yeah, we posted a picture of Nanook in this beautiful spot, and like Nanook in her favorite environment, like, oh yes, she is.
It's funny when they return the cars and we go to drive them away, people kind of look wistfully as it goes past and kind of wave goodbye to the car.
Yeah.
We had one guest who
Treated 'em
was literally
good.
in tears
Yeah.
as the car
that's
was driving
cool.
away. I felt bad taking it back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show it's just an embedded memory and experience in their life that they'll never forget.
Yeah, and the vehicle got them into those environments, and it's a tool just to help them in regards to their journey of their life. And life is all about creating memories, and same with families too as well. It's like, all right, what memories can I create? So when the kids are my age, they're going to think back on this time. Is this going to be an ingrained memory in them? And hopefully one of these trips that they come up here, this is going to be an ingrained memory in them when they come through.
Yeah, I'd have to believe that it's hard to forget the views that you see, the experiences you have, the weather.
Yeah.
The whole, not renting a car and going hotel to hotel or Airbnb or bed and breakfast to bed and breakfast or whatever. You're actually like waking up and firing up coffee in front of a campfire with a lake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
S'mores
going,
every night.
hanging out around a campfire and northern lights are above you. It's like those things you don't forget.
Yeah. And
The rest of the stuff can blur together, but those are things that don't drift
Yeah.
the mind real easy.
And the vehicles are unique enough that people kind of, they jokingly say, like, no matter what, whenever I got gas, I had like 5 people coming over to me, or when I was at a camping ground, the people come up, where'd you get this rig
It
from?
sells itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They're like, what is that?
Yeah,
What's
it's
going
just
on?
travel and advertising.
It really
It's
is.
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. At what point do you guys have like a mileage in point where it's like, all right, this one has you. It sounds like you haven't got there yet.
Shelf life?
Yeah, is there a shelf life on the first one there on Denali? Like once Denali hits 100, we're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna.
It's a Toyota.
It's a Toyota. And
Yeah, I know. They can go a long time.
Built
Mine's
to
got a lot of
last.
miles.
Yeah, and we maintain them down to the T, right?
Yeah.
That's a key. And then and of course it is a Toyota, so it's reliable. But obviously that's why we bought Toyotas over other vehicles, because we want to make sure that in the 4 years or 5 years that we have them, that they hold their value reasonably well, and they have very little issues. And so I think we originally started maybe 3 years when we first said it. Then now we see how well they're performing and what they're doing. We probably 4 years, and then at that point refresh the fleet just so that way we've got newer vehicles kind of constantly tuning through. Yeah, so I think, and at that point we haven't gotten to that stage yet. We're in year 2, and then so I think we'd either sell it as a complete package that someone can buy with the turnkey overlanding rig, or we can just strip it and sell the parts individually and sell the vehicle too. There's options. So
We've had some guests too that say, if you're going to sell these rigs, can you let us know?
yeah.
I bet.
They want to be lined up to
they
purchase.
want to be in line to purchase it. And, what better way to purchase? Fly up to Alaska, buy a rig, and
Drive it
overland
out.
back down home.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's a
and
great idea.
It's not like you guys are going to tear them down and sell the rigs like without the gear on them, right? They'll probably just go the package.
Go as is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've learned a lot from that, from how we do Total Truck too as well, in regards to the brands that we selected and the products that we have brought in here. A lot of research has been done in regards to the vehicles and the products, and then the torture tests that we put them through in regards to seasonal life too as well, and what they go through and how well they maintain is really kind of reaffirmation of the products that we've selected and put in place. And we've made decisions in regards to some changes to vehicles and products just based on maintenance or how the customers, did they get it? Did they understand it? Were there constant problems because of the way things
the
were?
actual was it easy to use?
Yeah,
Did
exactly.
you have to
It's
constantly
complicated.
explain things to people or answer questions repeatedly about how to work something?
Or it's breaking, Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just not, doesn't make sense, or it doesn't, or it's just not built.
Does
very
that
well.
happen a lot? I mean,
We've made
is
some
there like
changes.
some weak links?
With
You don't have to throw a brand out or a thing.
No.
I'm just wondering if they're just like, okay, this refrigerator ain't cutting it. That's got to get replaced or whatever.
I think it's more of a reaffirmation of what's working, and then and there's been a couple of brands like soft shell tents. Probably just a soft shell tent is good for somebody who, if it's their tent and they know their process and they know the way that they're going to close it and they can maintain it. It can be maintained. But as soon as you throw zippers and canvas and all these other elements into
And
it,
rain.
there's a lot of pros and cons.
You got to maintenance that.
Yeah.
And then like when we originally were speccing out Denali, we're like, well, why are you buying an iCamper? Was a question. It's a lot of money for an iCamper. And then over time, when you see that how easy it is to use, how well it's held up, how easy it is for the customers to utilize, and then at that point, it's just now we were in a camp with that type of camp because it's just it's a
it works.
brand that works.
It works.
Yeah.
It's consistent. It's reliable. It's easy. It doesn't take a lot of time or fiddling around with stuff. And there's nothing worse than fiddling around with a zipper and having it get stuck in front of a customer that's taking it out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, look at that moose.
Broken zippers, covers being replaced, that kind of stuff. And then in the rain, what can hold up to the rain? What has got good
conditions?
Yeah, what's good resistant? That is dark enough that they can use it during the middle of June and not keep them awake. And then it's just and then what we say too as well when we're down at Total Truck, we obviously sell our campus because we believe in the brand.
Yeah.
But we say Denali was used 120 nights last year, and then you factor in what your usage would be in that tent for
personal use.
For
4 times a month tops.
Yeah.
So then so that's like
an average person with a job and weekends.
8 years of life for that tent that we've done in a full season had 0 issues with it.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then that's going to
that says a lot.
Your second season, it's just held up well. And then of course we've got the mileage, so we know what users what's got the best miles per gallon. It's, the iCamper's got like 1.9 miles better miles per gallon.
With the
than soft shell.
aerodynamics, the way it's mounted on the vehicle.
It makes
I
a
didn't think about
significant
that.
difference.
I was mentioning that before the show. You went down and gave us like the full tutorial on which one was down there.
That was the iCamper, yeah.
The
the vehicle?
rig,
Nana.
the Nana, yeah. The iCamper was in the showroom, of course, which was amazing. That iCamper's badass.
I want one bad.
Holy smokes! But because I've been kind of like, I'm like true diehard Alaskan. You jump out of the truck, throw a tent up.
Yeah.
And I've always been like, man, those things seem cumbersome, and like you just like, oh my god, it probably takes like an hour to like pull that stuff all out and set it up, and then you folded it down in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. It probably sets up even faster.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that is probably the biggest misconception, because as
Big time.
a person who grew up in a Dodge Ram, when my dad put up plywood, and that's where those first thing. Then we had a conversion
Ram
van,
Charger, Ram
Charger, and then we had a conversion van, and then we had the pop up, which was the worst thing ever in my life. I have nightmares from the pop up because it'd be raining, you got to come out, and it takes 45 minutes to do it, and it sucked. It was the worst. It was the worst
They're
thing.
not warm.
And so it's just like when I see people in those truck tents, that was the first thing. I just had like flashbacks of the of the pop up. I was like, oh, these poor guys, man. They're just. And then when you just pop that thing up and close it down in literally like 2 minutes, I was amazed.
And your bedding's in there, so it packs away. So you just, you get to the site, you pull over, bang, 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 jump inside, and you're asleep.
Crash.
Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned the aerodynamics and the fuel economy. Just this week, I've noticed 3 different rigs with iCampers. Like specifically, I looked for the brand on them because the low profile of the when it's
Hard case.
packed down.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so smooth. Like, it's not this, like a Thule. I'm pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Thule, is that?
Yeah.
Thule?
Thule?
Is it Thule?
No, no one says that. Everyone says Thule.
Okay,
Just
Thule.
so you guys know.
All right.
We're
They
not
stick.
in New Zealand.
Okay. Obviously, it's for extra storage for your SUV or rig.
Yeah.
So they're bigger, but they stick up, right? Like I think you can still probably go through a parking garage with that iCamper on almost.
No.
I mean,
Can you go through laser wash
So we've found
with the iCamper? That's what I want to know.
you might actually. Well, no one will lift it up.
Can
and
you go
stuff.
through iCamper?
Wouldn't
Depends how
recommend
lifted the
it.
truck is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 3 parking garages in Anchorage, and we know every single one of them because of customers that have gone through. and we've had to do the repairs. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's always when they lent the car to a buddy. They don't think about it, and they're driving to Providence, and
Yeah.
So, but it's like to your point, anything you got a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, the point
Building
is
on
they're
top
just
of it.
really low and they're clean.
Yeah.
So when your rig is just like doing its city running
Yeah.
and doing its like, you're doing your thing. It's not just like this big cumbersome. Like I can only imagine being having a cab over in the back of your truck, like driving to work every day on Monday through Friday with this like 4,000 pound, camper in the back of it versus having that up there. That's just clean, chilling.
Well, we love it when we do some of these awesome builds with people. With the cap on the top of it and the iCamper on the top of that, or any rooftop tent, and then we put a secondary battery with a fridge on it. I'm like, hey, so what you can do on Thursday? You go out, you pack up the fridge, right, and then you pack up all your food in the vehicle. All your clothes are up top on that, so you can scoot out of work at noon on whatever day, Friday, Thursday, and you're on the road. You're leaving straight from work. All your clothes are packed, everything's all ready to go, and you're just booking it.
Go.
Yeah, you're not worrying about going back home and throwing the clothes in or throwing the food or.
Well, the
It's
coolest
already ready to go.
The coolest thing is you
Beer's
can
cold.
still tow stuff. You can still tow
That
the
too.
toys.
Yeah.
You can.
That's what's like the best.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that part.
Yeah, because I initially thought like, I have a lot of buddies that have the cab overs on their trucks, and the main reason is because they can still tow their boat, they can tow their 4-wheelers, they can still tow their rafts and stuff like that, and still be comfortable in that little thing. But those are way expensive. 3-4 times as expensive as the iCamper, which my family, we've never slept in a motorhome or in one of those. We're tent people.
Yeah.
Like we like to go and sleep in the tent. And this is still a tent.
Yeah.
And it's way faster than the Cabela's guide. No, shout out to my son. We just did it, and he's like, I'm teaching him how to do it. And it's like, this takes a little time. Good thing it's not raining,
Well, and it's like, the thing is, it doesn't have to be a certain, like, you don't have to build it like our rigs. That's just one way of overlanding. Like, people say, what is overlanding? Well, overlanding to me is this, it's such a broad term. It's like, well, what is fishing? You know, you could be a trout fisherman. You could be, commercial fishery. There's so many.
You could be shrimping.
Yeah,
like
you
just fishing, right?
Exactly. You could be more like focused on off-roading, and then you want to utilize your vehicle for also car camping too as well. There's so much variety in regards to it, and I hate the brand overlanding. It's our brand, but it's from on that side of it. It's so broad, and it's really about what is your specific need that you want and how you want to build your rig. And it's every person's different and every build is different, so it's kind of that build conversation that you have with people when you're going through it. It's like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
And then how do you utilize your rig? And then we're building that to make it meet your needs. And some people, it's just a lift with wheels and tires, right? Or I just want lights, or I just want steps. That's a great. There's no wrong or right in regards to any build. Yeah. That's your vehicle. It's personalizing your rig. Yeah. And it's your rig, and don't care what anybody else thinks. It's about what you enjoy for it and what you want to use your rig for it. So, yeah.
I wanted to share this with you guys real quick. Did you guys have anything to do with this one?
We did.
Okay. Was that you guys?
It was us, yeah.
Let me see. I was just going to ask that. I was just going to say I need the tent that goes on the four-wheeler.
That's all damn.
Let me see. So Brandon just showed us a picture of.
I can email it to you. You want to pull it up?
Let me look at it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is it? Basically it's an iCamper on top of an Argo.
I think that's the mini with the queen size bed.
It is.
Yeah, because you showed us the narrower one, and then the iCamper.
It's a full size.
Can you airdrop that to me so we could put it on the TV so people on YouTube can see it?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it was cool because he really wanted it for that purpose of. And we did a lot of research in regards to what the Argo can handle in regards to that top weight, so that way it stays in the water and floats, and because they're designed to hold a certain amount of weight on top. Mm-hmm. And he wanted it for, you think about moose camp, how much stuff you haul, right, with hunting and all of that, and then this is an option.
You're overloaded.
It's not overlanding, it's overloading. Right?
Yeah.
We call that overloading.
Yeah. And then for him, it's like an option just to go out to camp, pop up his tent.
Nice.
Rest up,
there we go.
And then he's on the road.
Sweet.
The cool thing too about the iCampers is you can keep your bedding up in there, so you don't have the pads and the pillows and the sleeping bags and all that.
Yeah.
You can keep it all up in there and then pop it up.
That's one less huge dry bag.
You
got to bring.
Well, I was thinking about
it's a mobile dry bag. Yeah.
I have like a dry bag for my tent, and then I have a dry bag for all the sleeping stuff.
Yeah,
sleeping pads, sleeping bags, blankets.
Yep.
I actually have 3 giant dry bags. I take my family party of 5 out. and
the beer and the whiskey,
Well, yeah.
That's another. There's 2 coolers for that.
Yeah, I bring a lot of shit, man. People look at my stuff and they're like, "You bring all that?" I'm like,
that's funny.
We'll see you later.
I went to float the Kenai with my son, and we're going to stay one night, and the back of the truck is still just loaded.
Just you and him?
Just me and him.
Yeah. Well, the same gear comes if it's just you and him, or you and the whole family. The cook bag still comes.
Yeah.
The dry bag with the tent.
Yeah, the dry box with the food and everything.
It all still comes. So it's hard to really...
It's more work to break it down and put it in another bag.
It is.
Grab the bag and throw it in.
And then you forget shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
You forget shit because you're like, oh, I pulled this out of that bag kit to this kit. And man, I forgot that thing because it's not with my kit. And it's like, just throw it all in the truck. Just get it in there.
And that's what we're doing with the build process too. Is it's about cheers. It's about cooking equipment. It's about all of that, the tools that go with it. And you got to think space and capacity. You're looking in the back of a vehicle.
You guys covered it all too.
Thank you. Yeah. And when you look in the back of a vehicle, you're like, all right, I got to have, X amount of space for X, Y, Z, this and that, but I still want my chairs, I still want this, and I still want that. So it really comes down to capacity and where you can put things and making sure things have structure and height and, everything's got to have a place. And so, when you're doing your build, you got to look at that as an overall package of what the end looks like. And then how does everything fit perfectly? And we've had many an argument / discussion
Respectful discussion.
Yes,
There we
exactly,
go.
100%. Well, yeah, that's arguments. Are all
There
about
was
that.
logic, and there was
And then, but everything has a thought in place, and it comes together really nicely. And then that's kind of the what you should look for in regards to that. So that way, when you're going out there, to your point, you know what bag has this and what has that, and it's, you're not spending 2 days packing for a trip. You can easily, if you've got things in place and it's already in the rig, everything has a place, and it's boom, 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 and you're out there having fun versus stressing out about packing and going.
Yep. As any early marriage, getting ready, we used to fight, me and my wife, all the time before a camping trip until it all just got bagged up.
streamlined.
All the way. So you're not forgetting anything. Everything's set up.
Yep.
Yeah, because you want it all to be like perfect or close to perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to forget this. I don't want to forget that. I want to have this seasoning. I want to have this, this amount of water for the, like it can be an area of contention for sure.
For sure.
Well, if you forget something for sure, then you're like,
Crucial thing in it. Yeah.
You forgot the oars?
yeah,
Don't-
exactly. As you're blowing up a stand-up paddleboard.
Don't forget the camp chef.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Can you camp with those trucks or those overlanders in like a regular pull out? I know there's rules and stuff like that. Like people with motorhomes aren't supposed to camp here. Is that like a different gray area?
So if it's posted non-trespassing,
No camping.
then it's pretty open to camping in. Again, we just say be respectful of private property. Be respectful of that. Don't camp in someone's front yard. But the places that we're kind of saying for them to go to and see it, that's kind of the destination, is that waking up at that viewpoint. So it's typically we're saying do Hatches Pass, go do Petersville, go do Denali Highway. That's your end goal, and kind of do the.
There's a pull out at this mile marker. It's not going to be a problem. You'll have a view.
Yeah, and it's like with Denali Highway, you see that it's where you can pull out to hunt. Typically, is a pull out to camp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's different. Well, the question is like on these regular places, does it count that's a camping, that you're camping, or are you just parking? Yeah. Like I'm thinking of like Grayling.
Say it is.
Grayling at Russian River. When you go all the way down there, you're supposed to only park. There's not supposed to be any motorhomes. Day use area. Things like that. Obviously, you can't probably stay the night. But some pullouts, are you allowed? Like, would you get ticketed?
I think you would. If it says no camping, that would be considered camping.
Yeah, you got a camper set up and a solo stove set up. Yeah, probably.
But if it doesn't say no camping.
Yeah. That being said, I've probably driven late at night after 1 o'clock, heading doing the mad runs back home, and you see people in those pullouts. Not our guests, but I've seen people in those pullouts, where they're like, it's late, I'm just setting up anyway. Exactly. Yeah. And then that's what they're for, right? In that regard, it's like better someone camp out than drive tired, right? But
totally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good point.
Yeah. That would be my argument anyway.
Hey, you want me driving with one eye open or what? I'm just trying to get some shut eye here.
Yeah.
Have you guys noticed an explosion in overlanding and people wanting to maybe come into this business? I know because obviously you guys, it all stemmed from COVID as this podcast did as well, because we wanted to do something that we had a lot of time on our hands, and we want to do something where we're like away from people but still able to connect with people, as your guys' business developed that way. But have you seen, I personally have seen growth in it. I'm sure you guys have seen even more than I have.
Yeah.
Where does it stand, do you feel now? Is there still a lot of growth happening?
Yeah, I think so. This has been an interesting summer because we started off with, through June, it was like wildfire, in regards to the people wanting to do this. And then, of course, the rain happened. It kind of slowed things down a little bit. But I would say that a lot of it comes down into people trying to find that balance in their life, right? And I think there was this incessant need to do the corporate grind for a while, and people are kind of doing that. And I think there's a kind of culture change that's going on right now, especially COVID's kind of forced that, I think.
Yep.
And where people are saying, my time is valuable, and I want to be able to do stuff with my time. And, it could be just a weekend, right? But I live in the state, and I'm going to go out there and experience what I can experience in the state. And I think overlanding kind of helps with that, because it's, again, the convenience factor of, you don't have to have this massive adventure every weekend. You could just jump in your vehicle and go camp out at Hatches Pass and have an amazing experience with a fire.
Doesn't have to be such a big to-do.
You don't have to make reservations 6 months in advance. Plan your summer out. I'm going to camp here this weekend and there that weekend.
Have some spontaneity in it.
Spontaneity.
Yeah, there you go.
Spontaneity, yeah. Because that balance is really, really hard, especially if you're a grinder with a family.
Yeah.
Because you have to be like, okay, calendar, June.
Yeah.
Bop, 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 bop. You just, we're doing this. We're going floating. We're going fishing. We're going four-wheeling. It's like you have all this stuff.
Yep.
But this option gives you like, oh, that got canceled. Now we can just like drop what we're doing and go over here.
But you don't need a camper rig. You don't need a truck. You don't need a car.
No.
You can do something that's kind of in everything. You want to go 4x4, and then you just tow 4x4 right behind the same rig that you go camping in the weekend before that. You want to go do a float, same thing. You're just using the same rig you're getting out to, and you're not worrying about a campsite and bringing tents because it's on the back of your vehicle. It just gives you a lot more flexibility than what you could do beforehand.
Yeah, and you can change your plan. You can get there and be like, this isn't kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Let's move on to over here.
Yeah.
And then drive over there and set up shop.
And then there's a saying out there, especially in the overlanding world too as well, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of coming really big with people now too as well. It's like the drive there and the experience I getting to the place is part of the process, and taking in the country and going to these awesome spots and seeing, 10 years ago, it wasn't that long ago, you think how many people came up here, were deployed here, and didn't get to see this great state that they lived in when they were deployed, and then they would leave with regrets, Whereas I think there's a culture now of everyone that's kind of come up now where they're wanting to experience what Alaska has to offer. They're not going to waste this opportunity. They appreciate what's around here, and they get out there and do it. And so I think that kind of goes hand in hand with overlanding, and why it's gained a lot of traction is because it's about people wanting to kind of tie those together and make the most of it. So,
well, what would you say are some of the top, like maybe 5 states that this type of business is thriving?
I'd say mostly the western states, because of the access to public lands. Yeah, please. I'll do it on.
I'm good.
Yep, please.
Yeah, access to public lands is a big deal. And so, and I'm a firm believer in the preservations of public lands.
100%. And
making sure that it is open to all public as well.
Yes.
So not shut it off to one, or just put it in a little globe and no one touches it. It's about the more people that get out there and experience it and appreciate it, the more people that would raise their hand to defend it.
Yep.
When it needs to come up to as well. So.
Well, that's a touchy subject that we've brought up before, because a lot of times you're in these public lands, and the same place that you can cross country ski you can also trap.
Yeah.
You could ride your bike, you can fly a kite, you can do all these different things, and that is the meaning of it. And sometimes there's contentions between those groups, and you can also go four-wheeler. Like I've been in places, not to blow up any spots, where we're rolling up in four-wheelers, and there's guys that are hiked in the whole time, or there's guys on their bikes, where we're taking our ATVs and stuff like that. And it's like, well, that's what that guy wants to do, and this is what we want to do, and that's what those guys want to do, and it's all the same area. You're still accessing the same place, and it's really cool that is allowed.
It's not, it's back to the old argument of skiing versus snowboarding, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're still on the mountain. You're still enjoying it.
Yep.
The fact that you're out there experiencing the land, having an appreciation for it. Your appreciation of transportation could be differently, but you're out there respecting and appreciating the land. As long as you are respecting it,
yes,
and taking care of it.
Absolutely.
I think that's a key. And then many strokes are different, many folks. Just because it's the way you like to roll doesn't mean that's the way they have to roll. So be respectful of that too.
Yeah, and I think whoever
it's called public access for a reason.
Yeah, yes, and whoever created that pack it in, pack it out.
Yeah.
Theme, logo, brand, whatever that is. I don't know if that was the forestry or that was the Department of Fish and Game. Like, everyone knows that, and everyone respects that highly in Alaska.
100%.
I mean, I've been to multiple areas same spots, same camping spots, remote spots where I know other people are enjoying when I'm not there.
Yep.
And every single time it looks the same as when I left. And that I think that's something that's important that you instill in your children, that you instill in people that you take out for the first time. Be like, listen, man, we're not going to leave that steak in there because you can't get it out. Like, because the next guy's going to come and his kid's going to trip on that. Yep. Or things like that. Like, we're picking up trash, and people that are doing these things where they're doing river cleanups or, for example, like the bridge project, the Ship Creek, even the local Ship Creek cleanup, things like that. Like, all those things are not fun.
Yeah.
It's not something you're like, ooh, I can't wait to wake up on Saturday and go to the cleanup, you know? But it's those things that when you're out there and you're in this place that you enjoy, like, you do your part.
It means a lot.
Yeah. And it makes you more aware, too, of all the trash that's out there.
Yep.
And the various things that get away from people, and makes you more aware of keeping a clean space after yourselves.
I agree.
I would say in the last, because we've been really, really, really getting out a lot in different various areas, whether it be rivers, ATV trails, hiking trails, hunting areas, various different areas over the last 5 years, really, really, really hard. And things are so clean. I don't know if they've always been that clean, but what I can say, kind of to what Daniel's point was earlier, things are just like, you might see like an accidental water bottle or a soda can that might be out there, but it's a one-off random thing you see in like 5 miles of trail.
Yeah.
It's like it wasn't on purpose. Like it bounced off
like
the
it
thing
fell off
and
of
they
something,
don't know.
and it was a mistake. It's like someone was like, toss it to the side. And like, no, it wasn't like that. Yeah. But things are, I feel like collectively as a community,
culture's changing.
Yeah.
It has really become a thing. Like, if you come across something, you stop and pick it up.
Yeah.
Like, if it's just somebody else's wrapper or trash, you pick it up anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be in this scenic, wild, remote place and drive by and see a fucking beer can.
Yeah.
It's so tacky. It's like, man, this just like.
And what does it cost you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Exercise.
It's just not fair to leave such a negligent human impact on something unnecessarily, and then you pick it up and it just was like, all right, cool. You know, it's done.
So in general, I want to say thank you. Thank you to all the
maybe that was the message I
Alaskans and
meant to say.
residents
Like,
and
you know,
even the visitors that
positive.
come out and respect that is our culture. That's amazing. And if you see someone doing it, you should say something, because a little story, I don't know if I ever mentioned this. We are shithead kids. We are bad teenagers. We did a bunch of bad stuff. You guys have heard the stories if you've been listening. And one time we used to go to Seward. It used to be a big camping 4th of July deal. And we would bring all the tents, and this was back in the mayhem days in the 90s, and it was just out of control.
Mason firearms.
Yeah, mace and firearms and all kind of stuff. But we're on the way out, and anyone that used to go out there to Seward remembers that on the way out, on whatever the day after 4th of July and everything's over, there's 150 cars parked trying to leave Seward because you're waiting for that stop sign there to go up by Turn Lake or whatever that is. Us being... It wasn't actually me. It was a buddy of mine. Throws a can out the door. We're all stopped in this thing. This guy comes tearing out from 10 cars behind, runs up, almost kicks the windows in, makes us all get out of the car and go back and clean up. I will never, ever forget that. And since that day, I have never, ever, ever littered or done anything like that. And I've instilled in my kids and any kids I've taught for 21 years, every single kid, I make them pick up and clean up after themselves, because that guy that day instilled in me, that's not how we live here. Yeah. And that was exact words, and I was like scared to death. Like, this was going to kill us.
Yeah.
And he made us get out like 4 dudes who were just brawling the night before, like tough kids, you know, on the Seward thing. But this one guy just came out and approached this car full of teenagers and just made us all get out of the car in a line of 100 people and made us go all the way back and pick up that can.
Good for him.
And so ever since then, it's just been like, okay.
Yeah,
that's how it is here.
You want to run that road 1,000 more times.
Yeah.
You don't want to see a piece of trash next to it.
Just makes it feel used.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it really is. I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I don't know that it's set in more like later in life, and the appreciation has grown more for what we have at our disposal. that you just don't want to see that kind of shit, you know?
It's a tough balancing act too. Like I'm a firm believer in access, like getting access to these spots, right?
Yeah.
For everybody to have access to. But then it's about ensuring that it's maintaining there, so that way it's as similar as what for our kids and their kids and their kids. And that's one thing I do love about the National Park Service, is the fact that these national parks, which we're surrounded by, it'll be this way for my kids.
Yep.
Yep.
And understanding that access is a privilege,
Yeah.
and having that mindset.
It
of
is a
taking care
privilege,
of
Brooke.
it.
Well said. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
Because if we don't respect it and value it and care for it and manage it and maintenance it, we'll lose it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, because there's plenty
It'll
of
get shut down.
folks out there that have agendas that will have us lose. You know, we wanted to, before the show, we said we don't get into politics.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to like
Close to it.
scratch the surface necessarily. I just want to say that like there are folks that want to take it away, and then there are folks like BHA and other agencies that want to help us keep it. And I'm certainly all for having public access
100%.
because when you say kids, that's a lot of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all here for us to preserve and enjoy for the long haul.
Yep.
And it's up to us to constantly, like homie that ran up and gave you guys shit on the Seward Highway.
Yeah.
You know, like that experience.
Like I would shake that man's hand and they'd be like, "Thank you,
thank you so much."
You changed
Yeah.
all 4 of our lives."
Yeah, just as far as respecting what you have in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's major.
Way to bring the podcast down.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take a quick break.
It's good awareness. It's good for awareness. Okay. All right. Sometimes we gotta speak the truth out here.
Exactly.
AWP.
Yeah.
Right?
Speaking the truth. Yeah. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Bring it up.
The Treehouse AK, your one-stop dispensary located at 341 Boniface Parkway. Be sure to ask the bud tender about their deal of the day, because honestly, there's always something good on deck. And guys, listen, this is where the culture lives. At the Treehouse, their dedication to servicing consumers has been developed through a lifetime of involvement in the cannabis culture. They're committed to providing the highest quality products at whatever value your budget affords, while always maintaining the deep-rooted principles that have carried them this far. Their focus is on relationships over transactions, and you can always depend on them to treat you with the respect you deserve. Hit them up at thetreehouseak.com, and remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
Tailored Restoration, 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Tailored has an emergency response number with trained professionals available to help you at any time, day or night. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Make an appointment today at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Since 2008, Serrano's is Anchorage's own new generation of old cocina. Their menu showcases the passion and love of their rich heritage and unique family recipes that have been passed down through the generations. Serrano's goal is to embrace and display trad flavors using the best ingredients that are available. They focus on making everything from scratch daily. In-house menu includes handcrafted corn tortillas, salsas, carne asada, and chorizo. But don't take their word for it. Experience their tradition and sabor for yourself. Locations on Tudor and Northern Lights, both with new tequila bars. Check out their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
The Connoisseur Lounge, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. The Connoisseur Lounge is Palmer's first locally owned and operated cannabis retailer. Their beautiful store is located at 226 Evergreen Avenue. The Connoisseur Lounge has exclusive cannabis products such as Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and one of our favorites, Sugar Cookies. And if you're not into the flower, the Connoisseur can hook you up with edibles, vape supplies, and a ton of CBD options for all your health and inflammation needs. Check out their daily deals at theconnoisseurlounge.net, or even better, stop by the lounge today. Remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
There's like camaraderie out there versus like, these fucking ATV guys coming through.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome. Nice rigs, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, like appreciate it. Yeah, you know, Daniel, it was funny he mentioned that earlier, because when we were sheep hunting this year, we had a group of very young folks that were hiking down about 1,500 feet below us, and they couldn't see us where we were at, but where they had come from, our other buddy had run into them, and they had hiked this huge loop, like 80 miles, this huge loop over like, man, what did he say, like 17 days or something like that in backpacks.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap, man, you guys hold a lot of food.
Go you guys.
Respect.
Yeah, and they were just kids. They were kids. They were kids with a couple of like older, proteges or whatever. And it was like, oh man, I was kind of bummed for them that they had like done that trek, and then they like came across like a ATV trail. But then I was like, well, but where they came and what they did in all,
Yeah.
they probably welcomed a nice flat path to walk on versus like.
Well, it also gives them more of appreciation of where they were.
Yeah, and they didn't seem all too saddened or bummed about it. They were just like, this is part of their adventure and everything. They'd experienced the whole thing, and so I was kind of like, oh man, I would never want to like cross contaminate if I was in that position. But at the end of the day, I didn't just go through their experience, and so.
But I kind of go back to that again to like my old tourism days. There were people who would wait until retirement age before they even started traveling.
That's whack.
And then so they would do their cruise, and then something would happen health-wise, and the most common thing I'd hear from somebody say, I wish I had not waited until this time. And so I think that's back to the point of overlanding and why it's getting so popular. I think that's kind of the culture that's happening. I think the generations that have come is like, a lot of parents are saying to their kids now, enjoy life, get out there, make the most of it.
Yeah.
Do it where you can.
Or kids are telling their parents,
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's
You
so.
still need to come and work though.
You do.
Yeah.
If we could just have that balance.
You got to
still,
work.
like, we need some talent, so come on over here. There's job openings.
But yeah, work hard, play hard.
A lot of us have job openings.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Come to Alaska. Good jobs for you.
We all want to
Yeah.
play hard too, but we got to earn some money to do it.
Exactly.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
I want to get into the gear.
Yeah.
I want to jump into the gear.
Full geek.
And the way I want to approach this is I want to have you or Brooke basically outline, if you are a young person coming out of school, you have a little bit of money, and you want to start this build, which we know that it's a lot of money depending on where you want to start.
Yeah.
But like, what are some of the first things like that you should focus on, and what would be leading up to like the ultimate build that you'd want to do? I know that varies for different people depending on what you want to do, but like some of the basics, like you want to start with this, so in order so that you can have this, and how does that look, and what does that look financially?
So my number one response to people is, you don't have to wait for the gear to get out there. So the first step is get out there, right? And if it's camping in the back of your car and going out there and experiencing what it is with the pulling the covers off your bed at home and a pillow and throwing it in the back of your car.
Yeah.
Just
With a
get
Walmart
out.
tent.
Yeah, you don't have to have.
No, in the back of his car.
Exactly.
Yeah, or in the car,
That's the first. Just get out there and enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Fold the seats down.
yeah, exactly. First one is get out there. Don't wait for this perfect build before you get out there and explore it, right? And then your build process will probably evolve as you realize what you want to do in regards to what does Alaska Adventures look like to you. But then I'd say the nuts and the bolts, probably, wheels and tires, or not even tires, wheels for sure. Like good tires are a big deal in regards to being able to get onto dirt roads, accessing into good asphalt, something that can handle any kind of conditions. Rims, a suspension lift is a really good start to as well in regards to going to some of those trails, kind of going off trail a little bit to find those good camping sites. A tent is a good option too as well. Then you start looking at your cooking gear, and there's a lot of options that you can kind of get. But again, every single step needs to be on that journey towards your end goal of what your build needs to be, because back to your point, we work hard for our money. Every dollar that we spend needs to go to buying the right gear to get our kit together, so that way it could be something that, how many of all of us here in this have a piece of kit that we've had since day one, right? That was a good piece of kit that is something that we're going to have for a while. Timeless, exactly. So, we try and coach in regards to buy once, cry once, but also that this is a critical part of your gear, and it's comes down to, what would you say would be first on your list from the overlanding side of it? Would probably be storage, and storage solutions would be good. Something with kind of arrangement, organize.
Kitchen stuff.
kitchen stuff.
Kitchen stuff's important to me.
Yeah, a good stove.
Hell yeah.
Having a good stove. We upgraded in our rigs. We use the 5-pound bottles. They're like the bottles that you have in your tank at your
little
barbecue
minis.
at home, but they're
Yeah.
mini size.
The propane.
And so that'll last for 2 weeks. Our people that go out for 2 weeks, they'll use the same bottle for the 2 weeks, and then to refill it, it's only a couple bucks versus those
Perfect,
little
yeah.
Coleman canisters.
The
that are
green
always
ones?
rolling- yeah, they're always
Yeah.
rolling around in the back of the car, and you never know how many you need, and is it
What do
going
you
to
put
run
in that?
out?
Like
and
5 pounds?
It's 5 pounds.
It's 5 pounds. I
Yeah.
just bought one.
1 gallon or 5 pounds.
Yeah, I just bought one at AIH this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have like the 20 pounder I've been dragging around. I'm like, man, this is like way overkill.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm gonna.
If you're cooking, it will last for 7 days, 10 days.
least,
of
yeah.
cooking
Oh,
on a
that's
can
great to
shift.
know.
Yeah, and you're not
Yeah,
worried
those
about
little things pack a punch.
Yeah, well, and I've got it set up like it goes in a milk crate, and then
Yeah.
it's got all the stuff that's gonna go with like the accessory hose, and I'm gonna have it all packed in there.
The old milk crate.
Yeah, so I got like more storage solutions, Brooke.
Yes.
That's huge.
All
Like
that.
people
is.
think like I need this gear for this like
No.
application, and
Yeah.
you do. You need it. You need a tent.
Yep.
If you're gonna go 4x, you need the lift. You need tires.
Yep.
You might need a winch.
Yeah.
Maybe those Max Tracks.
Yep,
You know the Max
100%.
Tracks.
Maybe a light bar, maybe
Yeah, right. But storage solutions are huge, man, and I find that to be a challenge because I'm the guy that brings a lot of shit. So like, I'm bringing it, like one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm bringing it, and so I'm constantly. The challenge is like how to pack it tighter, smaller.
And that's what we
More
look at
convenient.
for our
Yeah.
gears.
Convenient, too.
Yeah, we did the first thing we did with drawer systems because you got height, you got space, and the drawer system allows you to put more things and give organization.
Drawer?
Yeah, drawer
Yeah.
systems.
Give
Okay.
structure to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was under the refrigerator.
Yep.
Those, yeah.
Yeah, there's AOB has some solutions. Frontrunner has some really good solutions that are out there that are custom made. Decked systems has got a really good system for the
Yep.
back of trucks, which is really economical way to go.
Rugged
around.
too.
Very rugged, waterproof too as well if it's
Yep.
going to be exposed to the elements. Plus, it's got a little measuring tape at the end of it so you can measure your fish if you want to. As well.
Oh, that's not big enough.
Throw that one back. It's not even gonna make the gram.
And then at that point, then it's a canopy, right? If you got a truck or if you got an SUV, then you're thinking about what is going to be then what am I using the vehicle for? Again, in purpose. Everyone here likes coolers, and people are diehard fans on coolers until they have a fridge, and then at that point,
It's a
then
game changer.
It's a game changer, and they never
Yeah.
go back. But then there's challenges with that. As soon as you put a fridge, you really need to have a secondary battery system, which allows you then to kind of camp in sight, and you can use it. That battery will keep that fridge going for 4 days, 5 days. You're on camp even longer if you put solar into it. And then, at that point, you're charging, everyone's got a device with them now. No one has a phone that needs to be charged, right? And then you need to have a drone, or you need to have any kind of camera that you have with you at any point in time, and then it need to be charged. And so all that goes on.
Everything has to be charged.
Yeah, and
Your
then
headlight. Your
That leads me to think on those iCampers and that stuff. Is there like a way to plug in a charger?
there is, yeah.
There is. Okay.
like a USB port.
Yeah, we can run it through under there and using dual batteries. It's
Okay,
got a little pass through for it to go into. Yeah.
Okay.
They
All right,
thought
go
about
on.
that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
rabbit
And then
hole.
really their rooftop tent, that next step is really it's a lifestyle choice in regards to that vehicle that you want it for. And I'm gonna use my vehicle to get camping. I'm gonna use my vehicle to go out to these places. And then so that rooftop tent gives you an option. And then it could be on an SUV, it could be on we put on so many Subarus on those little minis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you saw
Argos.
Any Chevettes?
Yeah.
Not yet.
I wish they had. Yeah.
Not quite.
Yeah, but it's a build process, and you don't
Maybe a
you know,
Bronco
and there's
too.
no set step that's out there you should use for anybody. It's really about how you're going to use your vehicle and what you're going to use it for. And it could be just like right now, everyone's coming in asking for lights. It's getting dark outside, so everyone's looking for LED lights and looking for light bars, and that's kind of how they're utilizing their vehicle right now. It's getting dark, it makes the most complete sense. It's dangerous out there. Moose are coming around, and just you're thinking through that way too as well. Tire season's coming up on us pretty fast too as well. So it's all about utilizing your vehicle and making sure that everything is going to that step. So,
Do you guys rent the Overlander stuff in the winter?
we haven't yet.
Is it because of people haven't wanted to rent it, or is it because you're winterizing them and they're not offered?
It's
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Not a lot of demand. We've had a few people with requests. But really the equipment isn't ideal in the super cold temperatures. So we're happy renting through end of November and then starting up again in March. We've got one rental coming up in November.
That's pretty late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much they're going to be camping, and maybe a lot of it's just for using the vehicle.
I think you can camp in rooftop tents through to the end of November, I feel.
Yeah.
It's that, and you can go, you can put insulation, you can do diesel heaters, you can do 12-volt electric blankets, you can do little buddy heaters.
You could do just the Wiggy's sleeping bag.
100%, yeah.
Like the OGs.
With the booties.
Yeah. There's a lot you can do if that's your cup of tea, right, in regards to it. I got kids, so therefore I'm like, I could do that. Whether my kids would do it and enjoy it is a different situation.
Sure.
Well, I asked because we are, my family, my son and I and Brandon and his family were really into ice fishing.
Yeah.
And these things happen after November. They happen between December and March.
Oh, man.
And like to be able to rent a rig to go to Lake Louise and not have to get a cabin and be able to have everything there with the fridge and all that stuff and all the cooking stuff and all that.
Everything.
And maybe throw a buddy heater or something in there or have some really good sleeping bags. It just, I don't know if you guys have thought about that, and it just is like I'm looking at it like for the things I like to do. Obviously, I'm not a tourist, so I'm trying to do other crazy things like that. I'm just wondering, is it capable?
Yeah, it's capable for sure, and we're looking at that for our next round of vehicles too as well. When we're looking at doing it's not official yet, so I don't know if I can say, but.
We got top 10.
We're
Spill the beans.
We're looking at doing a Tundra, which we want to do with the new Tundra, and then do an RU cab on the back of that too as well, which has got that pop-up camper inside of it, and then looking at building it in a way that this would be 4-season capable.
Yeah.
So that way it would have a heater inside of it, which would have an alternative fuel source.
It'd be a full-size truck too.
It would be a full-size truck. We're speccing wheels in regards to studded wheels during the off-season too as well, making sure that, because the biggest thing is for me is like if I'm putting that vehicle out, I want to make sure that it is fully capable of it, and that people who are trusting us.
I have an idea.
Yes, please.
You build it.
Yes.
I'll take it out.
100%. You test it
and
out.
I'll tell you how it works.
Sounds like a plan.
With the ability to do the full troubleshoot and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think about, like the reality of scenarios of a guy taking one of these rigs out in January, February, where it could be 28 degrees in the day and then it can drop to like 25 below at night. You have these like crazy temperature swings where you're outside using the stuff and like you couldn't just, in my mind, I wouldn't just like leave the stove open in like when it's freezing cold and you got frost settling and all that. I feel like it would take a person that like has had some good winter camping experiences to know that like gear doesn't quite function and respond the same way when it's 62 degrees as when it's 10 degrees or colder.
Yeah.
And the thing that be part of the process of like, all right, if this is something you want to do, let's have a conversation with it. Let's see what your skill level is, comfortable level.
Where you been, how you, what kind of experience you got. You kind of want to know a little bit of that, right?
Yeah, and we'd walk through like, hey, here's what the vehicle is capable of. Here's what the tent's capable of. And make sure that you're fully understanding of what you're getting into too as well. And then if this works for you, works for us, then okay, that's a different conversation. Yeah. And then,
you sound excited to do this.
Yes.
It sounds like a challenge.
Well, I love building rigs. I love building a rig that's capable for somebody's wishes and desires, right?
I would love the ultimate ice fishing rig.
Done. All right, let's sit down and talk.
With the ice house?
Yeah.
Ooh, Josh likes it too.
Ice house?
I just think that is, maybe you guys should think about that because it is really getting big. Ice fishing is really getting big out here. And something to make it easier because you're dragging the sled with the ice house and all this stuff. And like you go to Minnesota or Wisconsin or Michigan and they got these things like they're towing a house behind them.
Yeah, satellite TV. Yeah.
But like I just think like, wow, this
you
could be next.
You can park vehicles on the lake, I'm sure. Right?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
You can camp out there and do all kind of stuff.
So this is a no-brainer. I mean, so the awning, you put an awning, you do the sidewalls on it, and then you put a heat source into it. Boom, done.
I tell you what, man, you guys should come out for a night at Big Lake.
Yeah.
We'll go out there.
Done.
Drop lines, have a fire, grill some food,
Educate us.
test it
Yeah.
out. Yeah, man, it'd be
Right,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Be the
that would be
perfect application.
If you can get the vehicle out there, 100%. Everything would
Yeah.
be based on the vehicle. You can easily get a heat source out there. You can put
Yeah.
a awning on the side of it, do some sidewalls. Boom.
The AWOP.
Yeah, 100%.
The
Open up
AWOP?
the
AWOP.
side doors, just grab everything, grab some hot dogs, grill out. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Telling you, man.
I like
Yeah,
that.
some heaters in there, like so.
You even
everything's
have your
warm.
rods and reels on one of those rack systems you got.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You open the
100%.
door, you're like, I need the heavier rod today.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
You're onto something,
We
Daniel.
can do that.
Okay,
100%.
all
Let's do it.
Okay, that one's free.
Let's build a taco.
yeah. Let's do it. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
yeah.
Okay, so I think we covered like the dream mod, possibly.
Yeah.
I want to pull up
Yeah,
that
it could be a
picture
crazy rabbit hole.
that Josh sent. I think Josh sent me here really quick. Oh no.
Oh, the guy's Power Wagon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can I
Everything is
find
great.
that real quick? Can I look
It's
that
on
up real
it's on
quick?
Instagram, I think. Yeah.
It's on your guys' page? Yeah. Okay.
Total Truck or Alaska Overlander?
Total truck.
Total truck.
Total truck.
Okay. Not that Subaru. Nothing against Subarus.
There it
Ooh,
is.
Holy cow.
Oh, that's the finished product.
Yeah, there should be a reel. We did a couple of reels on it too as well.
Got solar panels, the whole nine.
Wow.
So that
Okay,
was,
explain to us what we're looking at here.
So this is 75th edition.
And pull that
Dodge.
mic up close. If you're going to turn up, just
Yeah.
turn that thing right in there
You
so we can talk
educated me.
about
There
it.
we go. So 75th edition Dodge Ram. This really cool story behind the owner on this. He's got a family that he really cares for. He's looking to do this grand adventure. There's a lot of good history behind the reason why he did this build, which personal, I won't go into it. But he wanted to really just build it out for this capability. So this is a rig that you can go from Alaska all the way down to Chile. And that's kind of the intent of it. So,
Okay.
you know,
Full South America trip.
Yep, exactly. And then also while he's in Alaska, utilizing it for Alaska.
Yep.
And so what was built with, started with the LU cabin, which is the main feature that you can see right there, the pop-up tent and the cabin, all in one unit. And he's pretty much got every single bell and whistle that you can do with LU cabin. So he's got solar on it.
That's what this is? This is solar?
Yep.
What
solar
is this?
panel.
Is this diamond plate?
Yeah.
Oh,
it is.
okay.
Yep. And then you
It's a
can.
camper top.
Yep.
Yep.
The cool thing about the LU cabs too, as well, is that you can actually put kayaks on top of it and do a bike and open the tent up all in one fell swoop too as well.
Okay, still stays attached to it all.
Yeah.
Can you put a four-wheeler on there?
Don't think you can.
Not yet.
It's a lot of height to get up to it. But we're enough ramp. We can.
Maybe 2026.
I mean, it's built.
Can you imagine the
it's
YouTube
built,
videos of that? The trial runs.
That's a rabbit hole, man. People loading up ATVs on trailers and trucks.
Yeah.
Had
Oh.
a crane.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So, and then inside of it, we did a full goose gear interior too as well, which I'm thinking some of the other pictures. And then, so that's a modular system that enables you to do functionality and storage. You can do water systems in it. You can do heating systems in it. You can do full electrical. There's Josh working away in it. So yeah, that just kind of, that video right there you're seeing is a build process. It came through as a stock vehicle with a huge pile of parts down there.
Yeah,
And-
the boxes just lined up in front of it.
And then in the week that we had it, we turned it into an adventure rig. So new bumpers, winches, a snorkel system that we put into it too as well. Didn't need a lift because this Power Wagon had enough of a lift as it was with it.
Yeah.
But did wheels and tires. And
What does that run stock, like a 33, pretty much?
They can do up to 37s, I think, with the stock
a factory
lift.
power wagon?
Can they go
Wow.
up to 40s, Josh? I'm trying to remember.
I don't think it can go up to 40s.
But it's 37s.
Limited to the 37s.
Yeah.
And,
The wheel wells will tuck the tires up in there and they
Yeah.
can, okay.
And it's more the bumpers give you some capacity too as well. Yeah.
That snorkel kit is
Awesome.
sick.
Yeah, Josh's forte
That
is
is
snorkels,
like,
man.
I mean, there's like there's no line
He's the
running
snorkel
here.
guy.
It's just like right there.
Yeah.
I love
Well,
that.
it takes a lot of gold to like
It's clean.
cut a brand new like $850 fender.
Takes a lot of confidence in
To,
the
like-
customer to give it to us too as well.
That's
and
what I'm
say,
saying. Like
yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
Like all of it's like the collective decision. Like, yeah, I'm gonna take a grinder and cut the hole in this brand spanking new panel.
Yeah, and
But it looks factory. It
It's
looks
an exciting
beautiful.
process, right?
Yeah.
When you're going through the whole design concept, right? What do you want it to be? what are you looking at? What's the framework of what it is? What's the end goal of how it is? And then, this was right in the midst of COVID, shortage of supplies. So we're trying
everything's hard to get.
Yeah, and we're creating new dealership agreements too as well while we're doing this, because again, it's good products that we believe in. And this is from the AU caps from South Africa. AEV is also from South Africa too as well, the brand. And so they're coming into the US and they've got dealership agreements. So you're trying to formulate that, get the shipping to Alaska is another fun thing too as well, as we all know.
Oh yeah, we'd love that.
Yeah, and so it's a lot of what we're trying to find when we're doing the research into the brands is that we're finding good products that are quality products for a good price, and then reaching out to them, and then they typically would not ship to Alaska, and finding ways to make that work and get them up here, and then give them access to people too as well is key. Yeah.
What is this this back part? This cab or whatever that is. What brand is that?
That's all one unit. Yeah, that's one unit.
That's all one thing?
Yep. It's a LU cabin is what they call it.
So like Smart Cap, but this is the other brand.
Yeah. LU,
okay.
Yeah.
ALU cab.
Cab. Correct.
ALU dash cab.
Yep. Dash cab. Yep.
And then the tent is their brand of their tent.
Correct. Yep. It's a pop-up tent. Yep.
And so what is this little thing inside right here?
That is an awning. So it's a 270 awning. So that would open up and give you full coverage from that front point all the way through to the back door where it opens up.
Okay.
So if you can scroll through some of the other pictures, I think we've got some.
Is there more pictures there?
There should maybe some other posts.
Let me see here. Maybe this one? No, that's a Ford.
Isn't there one with the Ford? Oh, actually, go to that one up there.
Right there?
No, right there.
This guy?
My ugly mug. Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Are you gonna
switch it around here.
Oh, nice. This is like finish.
Wagon, beautiful color, 75th edition. We just finished doing phase 1 of this with an AEV snorkel.
This is the same truck?
AU cabin.
Yeah.
You see a shower cube up there with some Renogy solar, 200 watt solar on the top. It's turned out really awesome. Phase 1 of 6 IB phases coming up here. As you can see, the RU table is underneath right here. And there's a 270 awning.
I love how that opens up wide like that.
Yeah. The panel,
wow.
electrical panel.
Wow.
Switches, that's a fold down table, more Molly panel. Drop slide, GP factor, Molly panel. We've got the and then you just come see as well. Up through into there, and then you come into the top. Preliminary wiring for the second step with the house battery. You see the water tank right there with the campus pod. It's such a great system. So just to go up, what you're going to do is go up through into here, into the top bed. Molly panels on the back. See the water system right there?
Yep.
And let's just top this off. We have the AEV rear bumper package too as well. And look at these.
Oh, that bumper is the same brand as the camper.
Great build. Different brand. AEV.
AEV. Okay.
Yeah, really nice. It's our first cabin of 2 that we've got slated this month. So we'll see you the next one.
That's beautiful. Is that the one you're telling me that's aluminum?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I love how those panels on the side open up so wide and so big. You could literally put a box in there.
You can do. Yeah, it's awesome. And then we got Mozzie panels that we put inside them too as well, so that way you can open them up and have the mosquito nets and not worrying about the mosquitoes coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone decides like, hey, I want this set up and things are in stock, what does a build like that take? Like how much time?
For that build took us a full week to do that one.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, and that was a whole crew for a full week, putting the canopy on top of it, doing the electrical work, and then doing all the water, and everything kind of comes in boxes, and we just kind of build it all together in place. And then it's a lot of that detail in regards to making sure that everything seals properly and making sure that everything fits properly.
Yeah.
And it was and we wanted to take our time because this was our first one that we'd done in Alaska, and it was a learning experience too as well. So again, take your time, work with the crew. Everyone's learning through the process, and then the end result I think the customer's amazingly happy. We're very proud in regards to how it turned out.
Yeah.
And we just did another one this weekend too as well. And we've got a 6.5 LU cab on stock here right now too as well. And then we've got some LU canopies too as well, which are just the basic canopies like the Smart Cap.
Okay.
We've got one Tacoma 5 foot and 2 Gladiator in stock too as well. So,
Okay.
yeah. Pausing for the gram.
There you go.
Get that shot in there. Yeah, so this thing has really taken off, huh?
Yeah, it has, and it's that balancing act of you're trying to do a business, of course, and the business model is really trying to take care of customers and doing really cool builds and unique builds, and then also it's doing the wheels and the tires and the lighting and all of that too as well every day, and making sure that we're just delivering quality product. And making sure that we're kind of making people's rigs personal for them, and that's the rewarding part of it when you have someone come through and they're excited. They've put a lot of dollars and time and effort and thought in regards to their vehicle, and we're just here to kind of help them make that experience happen. So yeah, it's a cool part of it, and that's what gives us reward.
Is there some shout outs for the team?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mike, Josh, all the crew, Wayne, Jackson. We've got some amazing crew, and then we've got Tyler, Taylor, in the front too as well. So we've got a good crew of
good team.
Over 100 years of experience, and everybody cares and everyone's passionate, and they get geek out in regards to gear and just do amazing stuff every day. So reputation's key. We're a small state. And we're a small business, right?
Yeah.
Even though the business has been around for 20 years, we've been owners in it for the last year, it's really key for us to make sure that we have a good reputation in this industry and in the state. And the only way you can do that, especially if you've got a brand name that's been around there for a while, is delivering it every day on every vehicle. Yep. So we make mistakes, but we step up, we own them, and we make sure that customers walk out happy. But you make sure that you do everything you can do to not make sure there's mistakes in the first place. Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, you're always making. Oh, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
You're always making or recreating relationships with people that may have had experience with a company that's been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
A business.
Yeah.
So I said it before the show. We were talking. We're looking down in the showroom and looking at everything. I have a little bit of history with Total Truck.
You do.
And it's really, really just so enlightening to see its kind of rebirth, if you will. I say that respectfully in the previous owner and guys that worked there and did their thing. But you guys have given it a facelift and a fresh perspective, and I think it's a perfect match how you guys integrated it with the overlanding and then the additional new products and cool new stuff that comes into play. So you can sell lift kits and light bars and brush guards and LEDs and all that stuff, but you're talking about like front runner cutlery sets. You showed us
let's jump right into that. You got so much cool stuff in here.
Cool stuff. The toe straps,
well, let's just pull them out. He actually physically brought them up here. First, let's start with what we got up here. Yeah. Obviously, awesome merch. Alaska Overlander.
Yeah, real quick. Hold on. Before you start, there's some in the front. Spices. What do we got here real quick?
So those are Overland Spices. And
okay.
A very small company. And I found them because it's very themed in regards to what we do. But take a look at some of the names and read those out.
Yeah, Snorkel.
Yeah.
All right. Seafood Differently.
Yeah.
Intense.
Yeah. Dad joke there.
The intensity you've been missing.
Yeah.
Triple locked.
Yeah.
It goes over everything.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
All right.
Just something unique and different, right? Yeah. And then try those out for sure.
I love it. What's this box, man? What is that thing?
It's
really heavy, by the way.
It is.
I feel like that thing's like 30 pounds.
So again, there's like space, right? And you're talking about space, and you look at like the Yetis that are out here, and
it's heavy, isn't it?
It is heavy.
So it's a Dometic. It's pretty much a portable power unit. Right?
Okay,
and
like a battery.
Yeah, exactly. And you've seen those other ones that are like 500 to 1,000 style wattage. This is 850, I think, is what it is, and it's in the package of one that's about the size of a 500. So it's a really compact unit, and we're talking about space and how things fit in your vehicle. This is an awesome setup that we've got for that. So you can power your fridge. This will power a fridge for 4 days. Yeah,
Fully charged.
fully charged.
Wow.
Whereas most of those systems will probably drain in about a day or two.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So this gives you a good capability. Now the price point goes with that, but again, it's that package box point. And
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what's your application? What the extreme that you're putting your stuff to?
And you don't have to
Right?
go with this.
No.
If you want to go with another option, we've got plenty of options that find that price point and space and
Or
everything else
ice
that goes with
fishing.
it. Yeah, there you go.
All right. What about this?
So this is if you're looking at doing that dual battery system. So if you're really having somewhere where, like for us in our rental rigs, we want to make sure that when people go to start the vehicle, it turns over, right? And there's a lot of 12-volt needs that we've got in our vehicles when it's sitting in camp. You got scene lighting, you've got your fridge system itself, you've got charging, you've got water systems in our Tacoma.
Yeah,
And
pumps and everything going.
Exactly. And we just didn't want it to be, any issue when the customers are out there and trying to start their vehicle. So if that's something you want to do in regards to 12 volt, this is the most economical options by Red Eye, because it's based a company out of Australia. And what this has here is this is an isolator. It's a charger. It tricks the battery. It tricks the alternator into, smart alternators nowadays, they change the level of voltage that it gives the car to the minimum that it needs. What this will do is this will trick the alternator to upcharge and then charge your house battery. It also has in there a solar regulator too as well. So if you do want to do solar, it's already pre-built into this. You don't have to worry about a separate different unit too as well.
Red Arc.
You can shift over and start charging the batteries.
Yeah, correct. And then so it's smart enough to figure out what it needs to do. So like if you're driving and you connect it to solar, it'll pull the most greenest power first. So it'll pull solar first, and then we'll supplement using the alternator of the battery too as well. Alternator of the car. Really cool system.
That was the setup you had in the
Nana.
Nana on that main battery.
Yeah,
On the
correct.
front. Okay.
It works.
Is that bigger than what was on that one?
That's a 40 amp. We kind of gone to that now because we like to overkill our builds.
Okay. Just to make sure the power's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I just, man, not to go off the gears, I just feel like you can design all this stuff to provide, amps and voltage and all this stuff, but like, not to like drive this into the ground, but Alaska, like, conditions seem to put all that stuff like
to test. 100%.
Like whatever it says it's rated for, like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We're
also at the end of a supply chain too as well, right? So we all understand the uniqueness of a part.
Very, very true.
A part going down and having to wait 2 days at a minimum, and that's overnight shipping to get things up to us.
Yeah.
Right. We understand
if you
that.
can get it even then.
Yeah. And then also too, and I don't want to be dramatic here, but worst case scenario, it can be life and death or being a really uncomfortable experience if you're out somewhere and you're relying on gear that just doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
Having good gear that you can trust and rely on is really important too as well. So, not buying the junk that's off of Amazon because it's the cheapest thing that's out there, doing research into your gear, finding the right gear for you, and making sure that everything makes sense in regards to your build and things aren't conflicting with itself too as well is key.
And if it can last 120 nights or a year or whatever it is, I mean, you're talking like this stuff's getting a workout.
It is, yeah.
It's funny you put it in perspective how many times will you use it if it's just a personal use item?
Yeah.
Like 12 to 20 times a year if you're like die hard.
Yeah.
That's like a die hard guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even
scratching it.
Yeah.
versus what it's getting like on a rental basis.
Exactly. Yeah. And then our vehicles average probably, as I said, about 120 nights. And then they're coming back, and we now purposely have given ourselves 2 days for a return because we were trying to do the grind overnight. And that's a lot of work to turn a vehicle overnight.
What's your oldest son's name again?
Corbin.
Yeah.
We gotta give him a big shout out for sure.
Huge shout out. Had him out outside at 11 o'clock at night cleaning cars.
And our neighbors joke because, he is watching, literally the power washer comes on and they hear Corbin's grinding out again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So keep it up, Corbin. Good job.
Dedicated.
100%. Yep.
So tell us about the Front Runner brand, because
Yeah.
it seems like Front Runner has a lot of different things. I was very impressed with this like kitchen kit thing. What is it? What is this exactly called?
It's called the utensil set.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Brooke. We know who's in charge.
It's her passion.
Yeah, this one's my favorite.
Yeah, it is. Frontrunner is it's a company based out of South Africa, and they just have done a really good job at making sure that their gear is well. And actually, they're a roof rack company, is what their background is.
It's got a damn cutting board. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
And a bottle opener.
Yeah, 100%.
Gotta have that.
So this is a fold-away kit because, again, space is huge, right, in regards to that. And then also all the gear in one place. Like, you may not need a cutting board, or you may not need a sharp bread knife.
50 pounds of onions over here.
100%.
Yeah.
But you got one kit that covers
Oh,
it
we're
all.
going camping? You can still cut your onions.
Yeah. It folds up really tiny, and then also at a glance too, you can see what's missing. So you're at campsite and you're trying to hustle up, you're trying to find that fork, you know what I mean? Trying to find that knife, you're just hustling.
Yeah, this is way cool.
Yeah, really cool
'Cause
set.
it has everything that my cook bag has.
Yeah.
Except for I've got like plastic GSI
Yeah,
forks and knives that are mixed, like rubber banded together. Mine.
at the bottom of your tote.
Yeah, I don't have a.
Oh, yeah. No, a slick bag.
Yeah,
like
no.
this.
I mean, I got like a cutting board, but it's tiny and like.
Oh, it's got these hooks too. So you
Yeah, so you can just hang
off
it
the
up
edge
and
of
it's
the
all right
table,
there.
Oh,
or
come
if you have molly
on, that's
panels, you
even
just hang
cooler.
it, so then it's just there and ready to go.
Is this the actual price
Uh-huh.
for the whole thing?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
$75?
Fully kitted out.
Wow.
Damn. Really?
That's really
The
good.
knives and wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there tongs in there?
Ooh.
Does not have tongs.
Good
know,
job. You found the hole.
There
Tongs
it is.
and-
Okay,
You know,
pack
I
your
I
own
was
tongs.
almost sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tongs is
Doesn't
what it
have
was.
tongs.
Tongs,
Yeah.
and there's no can opener too. We had renters point that out last year, so we had to add
Yeah.
a can opener.
Shout out to Kevin from Life's Overland.
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
But
Well-
now it's in the rest of our pack, so yeah.
Well, front runner.
Front Runner 2.
Total truck, you guys
Front
get
Runner
that
2
figured
coming
out.
soon.
Alaska version.
The Alaska version. Yeah.
They're
W/tongs.
Exactly. their roof racks are just on point. They're a modular system, so they're designed for every kind of vehicle that you can think of. And then there's pretty much every modular kit that you can think of. They've got axe racks, they've got spades, they can do tent mounts, they've got awning mounts, they've got ski fishing pole holders, canoe holders,
Propane bottle
propane
mounts.
bottle mounts. They just amaze me in regards to kind of the expansive options that they add pretty much
Yeah.
every single season, and just constantly innovating, constantly adding different markets, and the modularity of it too. So again, back to the earlier point, may not be your need, but there's a need that's suited in regards to this too as well. So
I need
Yeah.
this.
you need that. Absolutely.
No, that thing's cool.
Yeah.
That thing's like the perfect addition to. We have our own version of a cook bag.
Yeah.
We have these big heavy duty, like DWR, like North Face,
Yeah.
thick
Duffels.
stitch
Yeah.
duffel bags.
Yep.
I forget what their actual like model names are, but he's got his big Coleman cook stove. Mine's a little more compact with the fold and go.
Yep.
It's got one propane can. It's got can opener and tongs.
There you go.
Pretty much all of that. I got a cast iron skillet. I got the whole nine in there.
Did we do
and
a gear thing on that?
We did. We did our cook
Have you
bag.
got to that yet, Josh? The cook bags episode? You have. Okay, so it's
You passed on
okay.
that?
So it's before.
Pass on it.
No, it's before 27.
It's like you
Before
missing out,
episode
dog.
27. Okay.
But no, I mean, I just
Yeah.
think about like this can compress and fold and like get right in there, and I
Yeah.
can
Oh,
still zip it
100%.
up, and I don't have to have all that stuff in the roof bag part that kind of makes it all bulky. And
Mine's
weird.
just in a Ziploc bag sideways. It doesn't even close. All the knives. and
Yeah,
the
I mean,
forks.
it's
just
like-
a nightmare.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
just like everything's in one kit. It's there.
Yeah.
Boom, bang.
Yeah,
that's
that
it.
thing is
You
really
know
cool.
when something's missing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
missing gap there with the
Especially
steak knives.
2 days of turning the vehicle.
Yeah,
This chair,
Yeah.
the Front Runner expander chair, this thing is amazing. As every Alaskan, I see people bringing these chairs. We're still on the Fred Meyer $7.99
Yeah.
Fold up.
red chair.
You get 'em for $7.99 still?
I don't know.
Like,
The ones I bought back in, actually someone broke one this past weekend. You can't push up like this. Off the chair, just bends it.
No. Well, and at my largest weight, I was 350 pounds, and I sat on these things all day long, and they suit
And
my weight.
and for the
Really?
people that are just listening, this chair is literally maybe the size of when it's fully packed up. What would you say? It's the size of
seat cushion.
A seat cushion, less than that, I think.
Yeah.
A thin seat
like
cushion.
Like a large laptop computer, almost. Like
Okay,
like
there you go. There you go. Like a large laptop computer case.
Yeah,
Looks like the case.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it folds out to a regular big boy chair that you see that people have the fold out table and all that stuff.
And it does have a cup holder.
It does.
It does.
Yep.
And a phone holder.
Oh,
And
I
a
didn't notice
phone
that
holder.
part.
No
I
phones
sat
going
down in
camping.
down in the parking lot, and I'm like,
Surprisingly
oh, shit,
comfortable.
This is like my
it's steady.
old trusty fat butt chair.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, in some of those chairs you sit into, you're like, I'm just going to find the right position to be in. Otherwise I'm going to tip over.
And I'm not going to get up. Yeah.
I do think that would take up a lot less space than the chairs that we
Oh
bring.
man, if you brought 4 or 5 of those, they all fold up and stack, and
Yeah.
Yep.
I like
Fit
that.
down in little narrow crevices, which we like.
Yeah. Well, especially like, Brandon and I and the people we hang out with, we're doing raft trips. We're doing ATV trips. The space is ultra limited.
Yeah,
But
meat
we're still
wagons.
bringing the family and all the kids. You still need 4 chairs. You still need the full camp kit. You still
you need the kitchen sink for sure.
everything out there. And just the way we are always looking for ways to minimize space usage and something that's going to last more than the Fred Meyer chair.
Longevity.
Which who cares? You break it, you burn it, and then you buy another one.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing about this, they come up.
Don't do that.
They have a fixed kit too as well. So they have a fixed kit that you can do and rebuild everything if you need to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Parts.
So you don't just burn it.
No.
Okay, good to know. When you run out of firewood, you burn the chairs. You haven't heard this, Craig?
And these chairs,
Pack out the
like
frame though.
Just like the tents, these chairs get a lot of use.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Totally.
of behind sitting in these chairs constantly all summer long, and we haven't had any problems.
No. And
What's the cost of that chair? Do we have a price on that?
I think thank you. And then also they have a little cover too as well that comes with them. So
Got a little carrying case
carrying
with the
case.
handle
Did he
on
say
it.
the price? I didn't hear him. Oh, he's looking it
working
up.
on it.
He's looking it up.
I was trying to fill the space until we found it.
Okay, gotcha. But it doesn't matter because I've seen people buy these Yeti chairs that are what, $280?
Yeah, $300. Yeah.
That's some soccer mom
Yeah,
stuff.
it's not that.
Yeah.
It's not
I
that.
haven't actually seen a Yeti chair in person yet.
I have. There's one. I don't want to bust them out, but there's one guy on my kid's soccer team. The dad brings the chair every time.
He went for it, huh?
And every time I'm
I thought
looking
I
at
was the
him,
Yeti guy.
I'm like, man, this guy's really utilizing that chair. That's pretty nice. I might have to burn this one.
And that's part of these products too as well. We're trying to. I mean, shipping to Alaska, if you buy from Front Runner Direct, it's in some cases before we started working, they didn't even ship to Alaska.
Because it's a South African company.
Well, they're based in. They got a Californian office too as well. And that's
Okay.
headquarters, and so they just didn't ship enough. Like it wasn't kind of in their model. So
Yeah.
therefore, they had these core products. They just couldn't get it there in a way that just made sense. They're going to UPS and going to ship it individually. And so when we approached them, we're trying to $80 for the chair. Yep.
I spent that on those Fred Meyer chairs already.
Yep.
Man, the price point on something so
Well,
Yeah.
the buy one cry once thing is
Yeah.
important.
no, I'm not saying that's expensive. In my mind, that's not expensive.
It's a reasonable for the product.
When I think about, like you said before, you buy something like we talk about Yeti, like coolers, like you buy them because you can beat the crap out of them, and they just keep working. Like that.
we'll fly to a beach and find one on the beach, right now.
Yeah,
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, I wish.
But you, like Brooke alluded to earlier, I mean, there, you got 100 people sat in that thing in 2 summers. It's like, and it folds and moves and binds and does a lot of things. There's a lot of room for error for it to fail.
Yep.
And yet it just keeps on opening and closing and folding and doing its thing.
And then when we found these cool brands, we're like, all right, so how can we get them accessible to Alaska? So we buy them in bulk and bring them up here in a pallet, and we store them and we sell them that way. So that way we're trying to find ways to find savings so that way, and from a list price, we're pretty much matching what is on Front Runner's website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in stock in Alaska at Total
You can go to a
Truck,
store and buy it.
111 East Dowling Road,
Thank you.
Anchorage, Alaska. You go tomorrow, you have that chair there.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
It's actually music
because
to my
I'm
ears.
that guy. Brandon's that guy. Like, I don't want to wait 3 weeks for the chair to get here. I want it now because I'm leaving in an hour.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't want to buy it on fucking Amazon.
No.
I want to go to I miss so much. I think of something. I'm going to go to the store and look for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to a place that says they sell this thing, and I can actually like touch it
Yeah.
and like see it.
Well,
Like, it doesn't-
you're supporting your neighbors, right?
Yes.
As well,
Yeah,
too.
most
So,
importantly.
you know, and
Yeah.
it's Amazon's great. We use it personally, but the
Yeah, I
reality
wasn't
is-
saying like don't
Yeah.
use it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like in this instance.
But they've got plenty of money. They make lots of money, and they undercut a lot of small businesses that are really trying to bring good products to market. And and then especially in this PFD season, I'm not saying go to Total, but love you to come to Total.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
But
We'll
make
say
sure that everyone is supporting local, because there's a lot of businesses here in the next year or so for the uncertainty where things are sitting. That if we don't take that time and support local and keep these people that are really taking that step up in this economy, in this pandemic world of taking that risk and starting the business, won't survive unless we sit there and support them. So
I 100% agree, and I think Alaskans know that.
yeah.
I think they know that. That's how these little stores like Total and Barney's and AMH and all these little stores survive, because people will go spend their money. Yeah, sure, you can go order it online.
Yeah.
But you can actually go down there right now and get it today for pretty much the same price.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Try
You
it
know.
on, touch
Yep.
it,
Yep.
test it out.
Yep. And they're taking a risk.
Yeah.
They're taking a risk and to provide a service to the community.
Yep.
And
Yep.
kudos to you guys for putting your neck out there and stocking stuff.
Look at this thing.
You know,
This is beautiful.
The Bubba rope.
Yes.
The
this
first
is
time
good,
I
yeah.
seen someone
Stretchy
ever
rope.
bring a rope like this is shout out to Cisco Reyes. He's one of
Bjorn
my
Stichko?
best boys here. He was the one. I didn't know the reason why he had this rope, and I've seen it used multiple times to pull people out. I didn't know there was a name for it. But this Bubba rope, this rope that is used, kind of explain to us what you kind of explained to us downstairs before we started the show.
Absolutely. So when you're stuck, the number
ATV
one,
or truck,
or any situation at all, right? I mean, we live in an environment.
side of the road with a Subaru or a Honda.
In a
New
month,
sewer.
in a month when we have our first snow, look how many people will be in the side of the ditch, right?
Yep.
And then the situation where we all should make sure that we are aware of self pulling and securing ourselves and taking care of our own actions, right, is key. So if I'm in a situation where I want to get stuck, I want to start pulling from my toolbox to get myself out of it. I want my family to be able to do that. I want my kids to be able to do that, right? So it is a basic necessity of getting yourself out of those situations that you should have. Just in Anchorage alone, much less if you go fishing out on the beaches and you get yourself stuck out near Kasilof or Kenai.
I've seen it lots of times. I've seen rigs in the ocean.
don't go to Clam Gulch in November.
Yeah, 100%. So it doesn't have to be like ATVing, which if you are ATVing, you should have this gear at a basicness for a life safety reason, right? In regards to pulling yourself out of a situation. So these here are kinetic ropes, and the purpose of the kinetic rope is that you hook it from one vehicle to the next vehicle, and then that vehicle, and making sure you're using a proper point to mount a vehicle too. So
Yes, good point.
because it could be very dangerous.
Not straight to the bumper.
Exactly. Yeah. To
Or the leaf spring shackle we said earlier.
And so the purpose of this is the vehicle that is doing the yanking. All right, starts in a momentum, not a crazy fast momentum, but just using the weight of the vehicle and then the kinetic strength when that rope pulls. That then pulls the vehicle that is stuck, and then it's not a forceful motion that's going to pull off the bumper. Sorry, Taylor. It's going to be a situation that is going to kind of create a nice easing out of that vehicle out of the space, or take that tension if it is stuck enough and isn't going to create damage to the vehicle.
Okay.
Yep. And so this various sizes of connector rope. This is a pretty large one. This is
That one's huge.
yeah. This is more for probably a true off-road vehicle like a Land Cruiser.
Yeah, I would say that's what, like 3 inches in diameter?
Yep.
And how long is it?
30 feet.
30 feet. Okay.
Yeah. And then
But
so-
still pretty, small.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like packable.
We have one for our neighbors at
This is more for vehicles.
Yeah, it's more for vehicles, trucks,
Okay.
full-size trucks. This would
Okay.
be full-size truck size. We have one for Northern Waste, which was probably close to 6 inches thick.
Oh,
for
big,
like
heavy duty.
big heavy duty ones?
duty one that we're utilizing to pull, their vehicles out if they need to, right?
That's like the guys that work out with things like this. Yeah,
The big ropes.
Cross training, right?
yeah.
And so, these are, as we're talking about, like a basic recovery kit for your vehicle. I mean, like Max Tracks, which we've got a couple over here too as well. A kinetic rope and some soft shackles would be, to me, like a basic necessity that you should have in your vehicle for a self pull.
Ooh, say that again?
Max Tracks.
Okay, that's what I'm going to pull up next?
next. Yep.
Okay.
A kinetic rope
Kinetic rope.
Yep, and then a soft shackle. Right.
What is that?
Soft shackle is just a way to connect a tow rope or a kinetic rope to maybe a part that needs to be accessed. So,
Like a clip
like
of some
like
sort.
a tow eye cap on a car or something, where you
I
could.
think Josh is going to grab one here soon
Okay.
for us. So,
Okay, as he grabs that, I'm going to pull these.
Max Tracks out.
Is a Bubba rope a kinetic rope?
Yeah.
Considered a kinetic rope.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's a brand.
Yeah, Bubba rope is a kinetic rope.
That is a very well known. The reason why Bubba ropes are great is because they test all of their product, not just to, they test it to breaking strength. So they make sure that every single rope is verified and tested. And so you know what you're getting. It's also US made too as well.
Oh, okay, great. All right, I always call these unstuck ramps.
Yeah.
If anyone that has been a long time Alaskan, you've seen these things. They're about a foot wide by 4 feet
These are front runner
long.
also.
That you will see that people use, or a lot of times they're just sitting on the back of someone's nice Jeep or someone's nice thing. And I'm wondering if they've ever been in the mud because they're so clean.
Yep.
But we personally,
Yeah.
Brandon and myself, had to use one of these in June in our Eureka Boys trip.
Early June, yeah.
Yep, we're back in there in Eureka riding around with the ATVs and the side-by-sides, and we went through a snow patch that we shouldn't have. And
I was testing things out.
and we had one of the boys, Roger, shout out to Roger Gibson, he had a set of these, and we used it to shovel, and we used it to get his rig out.
Yeah, 100%. And, these are good for even just icy conditions, right? When you're failing to get grip.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're good to just give you that. The way that they're designed is they've got a cup motion on the bottom, which gets stuck into the snow and ice or the sand or the mud and the dirt. And that just forms that suction pad right here on the bottom. So that gives you the traction. And on the other side of it, you've got your grips, which is what your tires dig into and give you that grip. So you can, if you are stuck in that scenario, you want to make sure that the direction that you're going into, you want to place them underneath the tire and kind of build a ramp out of it that your tires can grip onto and pull yourself out of that situation. So that's the main intent for them. But you can also use them for, let's say you're driving in your ATV and you've got an ice shelf and you're coming across like Friday Creek out of Connect and you want to get out of the ice shelf and you need to build a bridge. Well, that's what these are good for, to help build a bridge to get you up there, give you grip, bridge a gap. You may be on your ATV and you're kind of, you're in Muskeg and you've got that one little deep stream crossing that's not very,
But you're going to go front end down and not get out of there.
Yeah, they're always like the perfect width of your tire, right? For you to drop into and you're stuck. With this, you can build a bridge across that and just ride right over top of those.
So is there a weight capacity on these? Obviously, these are for trucks.
They are for trucks, and they are
any ATV, no problem.
Yeah, and these are designed to bend as well too.
Okay.
So that's
They flex.
Yeah, they got flex to them, so that way and if you can stack 2, 4, 10 if you want to as well to give yourself more of a solidity if you need to go across it.
Make it more rigid.
Yep. And so they just give you an option. There's many different brands out there too as well that you can utilize. We like Max Tracks because it's just their warranty process is completely one of the best that's out there. So if you break these, they replace it for you fully.
What if we just put 1,000 of these on that third swamp?
What do you think, Josh?
1,000 of these on that third swamp? No, I'm not gonna do it. Okay. Okay, so he did bring up the
So
I don't know what's called.
these are called shackles, and so you got a hard shackle, and you really want to. So anything that's synthetic rope, you want to make sure that you don't have a hard edge because it will cut the synthetic rope, and you paid good money for this.
Okay.
Right. So you want to make sure that it's got a nice little soft area to go around, and this is the hard point that will go into you'll to secure your vehicle onto.
Okay.
Right. So typically you'll see in most vehicles have tow points that they can utilize.
Could you clip that right on the ball?
No, you don't.
You don't want to do
You
that?
don't want to use the ball as a tow point. And
Oh, you don't?
No, it's
Oh.
really big no.
Really?
It's killed people, candidly.
Because it's going to yank that thing out of there.
Yeah. It's not designed to handle that tension, right? And then, then it becomes a flying projectile, which is going to go the direction.
That it's getting pulled from.
Yeah. So that's where the soft shackle comes into play. So you take that pin in the back of your vehicle, you put your soft shackle through that pin.
Oh, right to the hitch.
Right to the hitch.
Meat.
Yep. And then you put your kinetic rope onto that and do the same on the towing vehicle. And that's a nice towing point because that's designed to have the weight of a trailer pulled from it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's not cutting into the material.
yeah, and that's kind of the safest, like for a general vehicle that doesn't have like a front bumper that is designed as a recovery point, right? And so you do back to back and you pull them out of the hazard, right? That's a basic way to do it if using the kinetic rope. So typically you try the max tracks first to get them out.
Oh, okay.
You go to kinetic, or you can use both in combination.
Yep.
And then the next level, of course, is a winch on your vehicle, right? And then, but even then, if you have a winch on the vehicle and you got all the soft shackles and hard shackles, you're probably using a combination of any one of these recovery situations anyway. In no one situation is the right fix, right? So training, practice, just getting out there and enjoying it.
Getting stuck.
Getting stuck.
Yeah, test it out.
And then that's the ultimate point, is being comfortable in a position where like I'm stuck and I can recover myself from that because I got the tools, I got the training, I got the experience, and it's not like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be here for 3 days. I need to press the SOS button. It's like, all right, well, let me start grabbing my kit and get myself out of that
start
situation.
playing with my stuff.
Yeah.
Do these come in different widths and lengths?
They come in different lengths. So there's an ATV size too as well.
That one there.
Oh, this
Far
little
left.
one here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And then different colors because of colors.
Yeah. matters.
They all seem to be really bright.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's black ones, I guess.
There
but-
are black ones. Just imagine if you're in a really muddy situation where you're stuck and your wheels spin.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah. And then these things dig into the ground and you got to try and find them. So would you want something that's
That's why I would want something
Amazing.
bright.
Orange.
Yeah, it's amazing how easily these can get lost. Big,
Yeah.
huge, big, bright board, and it gets lost down in
Yeah, just sucked in a hole and it's gone. Yeah.
But, when you think about that situation where you are stuck, investment in good recovery gear is well worth the dollars than damage
it's
to your vehicle.
priceless
or
at that point.
having to get someone to come tow you out and paying the cost to do that.
Yeah. Just being able to get out and get home
Yeah.
makes it worth 100 times what you paid.
Yeah.
Right?
And then
peace
also,
of mind of knowing like, oh, we got out of there.
yeah. And that's a good thing
Feels
about
good.
the max tracks too. Like if you're in that situation where you're just starting to slide, right? And we've all been in that situation. You're like, all right, this is recoverable.
Yeah.
Right, you throw these out, give you extra traction to get you back on trail, you're good to go. Whereas if you didn't have that in a situation and you just try to get yourself out of it more, and you get yourself even more stuck, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Ooh. So again, different
All been
tools
there.
for different scenarios.
Yeah.
What about like we're in areas where we go with an ATV or a truck and there's no trees, there's no winch point.
Yeah.
Is there some sort of anchor system or
anchors.
something like that
There
you
is.
guys suggest?
There's a couple of good local companies that have some really good land anchor solutions, and they have done a lot of research and actually just in the field testing with these, and they work really, really well. So yeah, we can definitely recommend a couple of those as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Is there anything here that we missed as far as like cool new things products that you, obviously there's probably a lot.
Yeah.
But something that maybe stands out, like this thing is really cool. Maybe you should look into that too.
Well, I think the market's, especially lately, it's just gone through a lot of growth and boom, right, in regards to it. So that's much of a challenge for us in regards to trying to see what is good products that are out there, and are they quality products, or are they just people trying to jump on the trend, right? So that's a lot of what we're doing is just making sure that we're testing and going through those. So we do a lot of with people in the industry, people that we trust, right, and not just influencers, but also people that use this gear every day. And then just seeing what kind of products are out there. So to answer your question, every day it changes. And we kind of brought a couple of the ones that we like, and it's a situation where some people want all the things, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A
Everyone
lot of
wants
people want all the things.
Everyone wants all the things.
But then again, it's like back to having that candid conversation in regards to it, right? What's your intent? What are you trying to achieve? What's the gear that you need? Bumpers and a winch are a good option. Lighting's a really good solution. Any of the basic recovery gear is really important, and if you're getting a winch, and the next stage you want to go to is making sure that you're not who do you go with in your trips? Is it just your vehicle and you're trying to recover yourself from a tree? Then you need this kind of gear. But do you go with a Land Cruiser, or do you go with a full-size truck?
Yeah.
Then you need a 10,000 pound winch for your vehicle, but we probably need to do a way of multiplying that force through a snatch block, right? And, and making sure that, we've got all the gear and, bring your gear in. What are you missing? We'll kind of tell you candidly what you need to do to supplement your gear, and look at, the gear that you're buying, especially the soft shackles too as well. If you truly, you can find some stuff online, but if you're not looking at what the braking strength is and kind of
the specs on there,
and are you buying the right gear for your vehicle? Like recommending this for a small Jeep, wouldn't recommend it too big. Right?
Okay, not necessary.
And it'd probably do damage to your vehicle.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it sounds like you guys have done the research and have the knowledge and the intelligence of someone that comes in that might not know what the situation is, and you guys have already chosen these products that will work.
Yeah, and then we get educated by customers too as well, right? When they come in.
Oh, they all,
they know it and live it too as well, some of them. And it's a good dialogue to have with people when they're coming through in regards to what they need to do.
There's got to be a lot of shop talk.
Yeah.
Stuff that just guys come in, kick tires, and want to talk about something, but you learn something from it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
45-minute conversation, you're like, man, I didn't think about that.
And Alaska, people have been doing this in Alaska for years, right? And
different generations.
Yeah, exactly. And for some people, it's a lifestyle. Some people, it's just a way of getting to their house, right? It's just a unique aspect to it, right? So, and what works for them may not work for everybody else. That's the unique thing you got to kind of go through.
Yeah.
Do you have maybe a crazy mishap or a story that one of your renters called you, or something that you're willing to share where it's like, oh, these guys got in this situation or whatnot? Something that you're willing to share?
Well,
or maybe yourself got into something
I've gone into plenty of those situations. That's when it gets fun, though.
Yeah, I agree, and I tell people like when situations happen and you get stuck or you blow a tire or something like those are the trips that you remember.
You do,
man.
And then the people you go with too as well, and it's a trust, right? And then it's a learning opportunity, and then you learn a little bit about who they are as people too, and how they respond to situations. Oh yeah,
true colors show up when shit hits the fan.
Yeah, you just want to, and then it's. If you approach it from the perspective that it's a unique challenge and, we're alive, no one's hurt.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just a vehicle and we've got enough, people power and ability and we'll just tackle it and take it as it comes. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's kind of a lot of what it's all about, just getting out there and having fun. Right.
Yeah.
And then in regards to a rental, probably, there any situation?
We haven't had too many, actually. No. Our renters have not really gotten into too many situations, thankfully.
No. Broken window screens here and there, and that's the nature of the whole road sometimes. But, we had one vehicle that was stuck because they thought they were going through a nice little soft patch, but they were able to get themselves.
Oh, like Connect River?
No, Sicily.
Connect River has claimed a lot of vehicles.
Yeah, and that's the first question. Like, hey, can we go to the glacier? We're like, no.
That's a no.
Yeah, it's a hard no. Yeah. Even Alaskans don't go out there during the summer.
No, not unless their rig's like really, really built.
Yeah,
for that.
Well, especially after the season like it is right now too, as well. It's been wet.
Yeah, it's a nightmare out there.
I mean, if you're down for getting your carpets wet, go for it.
Josh last night was out there trying to rescue somebody. So yeah.
Oh, were you really?
We're trying.
Yeah. Got him out.
Yeah.
I had to ask about that. Tell us just a little bit about the Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
So is that your pride and joy? Is that your rig? Is that your...
Depends on the day.
Is that your build? Oh, so you're saying you talk dirty to her sometimes.
100%.
Yeah. I love Land Cruisers.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Love them.
He's got like the perfect one.
My dad has one in Columbia because the roads are, they're all off-road out there, and that's what they drive out there.
Yeah.
And I'm very jealous of his rig out there that he got for like $6,000.
Nice.
It'd be 80 here.
Yeah. We got it. It was our rent vehicle for our kids, right? And for us.
Oh, okay.
Like, all right, we want something that's going to have space, something that we can have a rooftop tent on, something that we can haul stuff on. And then, of course, I got my hands on it. So, next thing it's got lockers and 35s and,
We got a picture of that somewhere?
I want to see the video of it diving in at, Where were you at? Stampede Trail.
Yeah. Let me try and find that or chat in here.
Stampede Trail, where's that? What is that?
Was it this spring or last summer?
That was 2 years ago.
years ago.
Do you remember the show? Maybe you remember. They had a show that was like a 4x4 show that was like a race that they would choose trails in Alaska, and they would like maybe 4 to 6 people, and they would see who would make it the whole way. They didn't have that many like.
Can I drop it to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniels.
Laptop or computer?
MacBook.
Yep. What was that show called?
Yep, that's the one.
It was a Alaska Adventure or something, and it was like 8 or 10 episodes. Still on
I love
Netflix,
that show,
yeah.
but they never redid any more of it.
No. In fact, one
Short production.
Yeah, there's a couple of locals that were on that as well, and that are still in the community.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's play this real quick. Let me turn the. Where's he got the?
I don't know, man. We got.
Do we need
computers
volume?
everywhere.
Do we need volume? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let's listen to it. This would be a really good episode if you guys are just listening to get on that YouTube, subscribe, smash that like button.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Boy.
You got it.
Don't mind the tree.
So that CVT tent is the one that I kind of recall seeing probably the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe like in the early Overlander rooftop tent.
Yeah.
Maybe not Overlander. I don't know. Is that just rooftop tent?
Is that one of the
thing?
first?
That was our first tent.
Our first
Okay.
time. And it was one of the better brands that were out there for sure. In regards to soft shells, yeah.
That's the one that to me was like that cumbersome, like it's got the bag zip around it, and then now like I never have actually seen one like open and actually like what it does.
Yeah.
Just to me, it looked like it was like, oh man, that's got to be a lot going on.
Yeah, it's the pop up,
Yeah.
the 1999 pop up.
That's what I feared. Yeah.
It is, but you know, it's what I
Still
call
great, I'm sure.
It is. I call it the entry level tent, right? It's somebody who
It's
is
still on there, right?
It is. Well,
Hell
it's going to
yeah.
be for sale next.
It's on ADAC actually, right out
it
here
is.
in the
That's
garage.
right.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Oh, it is.
still going strong.
Okay.
It's a great tent. You know, it's got a great mattress. It's really comfortable. It's dark in there. The only problem really is those zippers.
And Total Truck's a CVT dealer, but
if you don't want to go front runner, we have
Yeah.
CVT.
well, you know, being in the industry, I kind of know where everything fits on the scale of what the tent is, and then so you've got your entry level tent, which is your what I would say your the low cost point, right? Even Costco is doing rooftop tents this summer, and you know, they're good for somebody's like, I don't know if this is something that I want to do.
Sure.
I'm gonna go see if this.
They don't have to
fits for
sell the
me.
farm to get into this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So they have a place for sure. And then, you know, you realize, all right, this is something I want to do, but I don't want to spend, 10 minutes breaking down camp just to put my rooftop tent and then challenge with zippers and this and that. So what's the next logical step in regards to what I want to do? So, do I want mum and dad? Do I want, what kind of space do I want? What do I want to utilize that tent for? Is that quick pop in, pop out? Is that really suited for me? And that's where kind of the hard shell tents come into play.
Yeah.
And of course it comes with the price point. So, and there's a gambit of tents in between that in regards to it. So there's no tent that is a bad tent. It's just regards to what fits you.
Because it gets you out there, right?
Yeah, it gets you out there.
That's the important part.
Yeah. And so, I'm loyal to the brands that I sell because I like the companies and what they stand for, and I like the product for what they stand for.
You know what they do.
Yeah, I know what they do. And then the other ones is like they will have a place, and as long as you're out there having fun and doing it, all power to you. Good on you. Yep.
Good point. Good point.
Yep. And then when you're ready to do kind of what you want for, if you want quick deployment, if you want something that is going to be something you feel comfortable doing by yourself, and you have the funds to be able to do it, then iCamp is a good option for you. Yeah, best option for you.
I had another question about a build.
Yeah.
I'm really fond of it.
Yeah.
A Lexus GX 450?
470.
470.
Yeah.
That is a luxury SUV.
Yeah.
Converted to like
A luxury camping.
South American, Australia, New Zealand backcountry rig.
Yeah.
So that thing's cool to me because it's a V8.
Yeah.
It's like full size, but like in between full size, mid
It's
size.
like a 4Runner frame,
But it's bigger than a it's
it's the same. It's actually the same body. as a four.
Okay,
it's on the same frame.
It
Just a
is,
different
okay.
cladding and everything else around it.
Yeah, and that's a personal rig that you guys have built, right?
It's a shop truck, yeah.
It's a shop truck. Okay. Yeah, have you gotten out and messed with that much? I mean, like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, like you've actually got it in the water and
Yeah.
because it has a lot of sensors and it has a lot of like
Oh, yeah.
extra stuff that maybe like the older Land Cruiser and 4Runners and stuff don't have.
Yeah.
With like air ride suspensions. I'm sure you deleted all that
We deleted
stuff.
that. Yeah, and we put King suspension into it. So
Okay.
we wanted to go with something that was like, there's various bang for buck suspensions too as well, right? You can do, again, if you're looking for something that's just a basic lift that you want to drive around town with, then there's a brand for that, right? I'm not going to mention specific brands, but there are.
Sure. The Pavement Princess lift kits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, that's what people are looking for. Some people want that, right? And then there's some who want to go off-roading, they want flex and capability. Then there's a brand for that too as well. Then you got the next group that want long travel, or like they want to be on a carpet and cruising at high speed and the whole vehicle is doing what it does. And then there's brands for that too as well, right? So, and of course, again, back to that price point in regards to what you're looking for and what you want from your vehicle and what you can afford to spend on your vehicle.
Yeah.
And so we decided to do Kings on the Lexus because Kings.
Deserves it.
Because Kings.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
you know,
so nice.
well, and it's cool too because like the Lexus is like the Gucci Toyota, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's still the Toyota brand. It's still the reliability, the build.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like when I saw Mike, he had the thing on the 2-post, and
Yeah.
you know he was bringing it down. I'm like, y'all jacked up a 470? Like
That's so cool.
that is cool, man. Because it's it's a luxury rig, and it's not something that you would really think to mod like that, even though it has a chassis that says otherwise. I mean, it can be.
And that's kind of weird, like the 80 series.
It's like a unique setup.
You know, the 97 through, to 97, I should say. 97 was the last of the 80 series, and then the 100 series goes from 98 through to now the 200th series. I mean, the Toyotas, so people know Toyotas, they're off-roading vehicles, but the Lexus is pretty much the exact same vehicle.
Yeah.
Just with different cladding. And
Nice interior features.
Yeah, nice interior features. And then now, too, I mean, as these vehicles get more that kind of lifestyle, people looking for that.
Yeah.
The Lexus was an option for that people could buy that was cheaper than the Toyota Brandon version of it and get the same capabilities of vehicle. But now people are starting to get more aware of that. So the prices are now starting to push up on those too as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Craig, for coming in and sharing all
Thanks for
your guys'
having us.
knowledge on this stuff. For taking the risk to actually take over a business and take it to the next level. I know there's been a lot of people that have entrusted you guys with Alaska Overlander, with Total Truck, and all the things that you're doing for Alaskans that are trying to get out there, and having the ability for the beginner guy or the guy that wants to spend $10,000 to the guy that wants to spend $100,000. I think that's really notable to have all those things in stock, and the ability to do pretty much anything for anyone that's within any budget. I think that's important. So the young high school kid that wants to just get it lifted, or the guy who's a Conoco engineer and wants to get out there, that's amazing. I think it is important. There is a big 4x4 community in Alaska. I'm sure everyone's here is involved with that. It is a big deal, just as big of a deal as the hiking community or the biking community or the skiing community. So I appreciate you guys coming in and speaking to us and speaking to our audience. We have a big audience that is into hunting and 4x4 and as well as skiing and all the other little things that encapsulate all these cultures in Alaska. So thank you for providing that for everyone out here, and thank you for coming in and speaking to us openly about what you guys offer, and all that in general is just wonderful.
Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, it's been fun.
Thanks for having us.
And I mean, and to kind of piggyback off that a little bit, thanks for opening up the opportunity for the world, because I'm sure you have guests, you call them, and clients that are coming from everywhere. They're not only from the lower 48. They're not only just some local Alaskans living the city life, getting out. I'm sure you got folks coming in from everywhere.
Yeah.
And so you're providing an opportunity for folks that is more than the cruise ship and the tour bus and which is all great.
It is.
Yep.
All that stuff is great.
It's a deeper cut. You guys are providing a deeper cut into Alaska.
There's just a different angle. It's another level, and
not everybody wants that. Right? That's perfect for some people, but then other people are looking for a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's not the other spectrum, which is, flying in helicoptering and they never see anything other than that catered experience.
Hey,
we're finding that niche, right?
One person's misery is another man's paradise.
Yeah.
Like you may not be into the camping and the cold and and not having a shower for a couple of days, but there's some people that like love getting out there, and I don't get to see civilization for 5, 6, 7 days, So you guys have opened up a whole new world in the tourism industry, and we know that's what I think the third largest economic producer for our state, right? It's pretty
I think it's second. Maybe it's going to be first soon.
I'm just saying it's unique. You guys are obviously a for-profit company. You're doing what you're doing, but you're also doing it for the culture, for the people,
and the passion. You can tell.
Yeah,
thank you.
No, it's great, man. I'm so thank you so much for coming in. We've been working on this a long time. Yeah. Thanks for supporting us and 100%. Listening.
Yeah.
We believe in what you guys do. This is awesome.
Yeah, and thank you for your sponsorship. I mean, you guys are every bit part of all this, and really, really grateful for getting this opportunity to have you guys in.
We appreciate what you guys do as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Alaska Overlander on Instagram, Total Truck AK on Instagram, websites as well, 111 East Dowling, Anchorage. Give these guys a call, man. Their doors open, their email's open, the phone number's open. What is the phone number?
522-9393.
Okay, there it is, 907.
907, yep.
Yep, give these guys a call if you're looking to get in the game.
Craig's like, I know the fax number.
Good job, bro. Good job.
Thanks, babe.
She's not even blushing either, man.
Thank you, Alaska, for listening. Support the sponsors. Pick up a new hoodie, a new shirt. We got a lot of stuff on the website. Support the sponsors and everyone out here that's supporting us. Support local. Spend some of that dividend money on some of these companies out here that are doing things for us as a community. We appreciate all you listeners. Get muddy and stay wild.
Woo. You remember my speaking to you of what I call your overcautiousness. Are you not overcautious when you assume that you cannot do what the enemy is constantly doing?
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. KO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They are the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Anchortown Dogs, located on 4th Avenue across from the old 4th Avenue Theater. Look for the blue and gold umbrella. From reindeer dogs to bomb euros, they've got you covered. Anchortown Dogs, your local gourmet hot dog and sausage cart.
Crude Magazine, Alaska-based media outlet using the last frontier as a springboard to discover larger truths about the cultures of our great state. Read more at crudemag.com.
Lawn Pro AK, Alaska's year-round professional property maintenance team. Services include snow and ice management, weekly lawn care, and more. Get your free estimate today at lawnproak.com.
Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
Lady with a Plan, your own Alaska event planner. From scouting the perfect location to planning the tiniest details, specializing in event management and production for intimate social gatherings. Find Lady with a Plan on Instagram.
Should you not claim to be at least his equal in prowess and act upon the claim? I say try. If we never try, we shall never succeed. This proposition is a simple truth, and it's too important to be lost sight of for a moment. If we cannot beat the enemy where he now is, we never can. It is all easy if our troops march as well as the enemy, and it is unmanly to say they cannot do it.